I'm here with Ed Hedrick, who is PDGA number 001. Ed, you invented the disc pull hole. How has the sport progressed in the last 25 years?
It just took off like wildfire. And now we see the top of the pinnacle, where these people are so much better than us old guys that they're not even in the same game anymore.
Now that it's getting for more money, more clout, more points, more everything, you know, it matters more. When you throw that good one, it does exactly what you want. That's like the feeling that I like crave.
He likes it. And he
No
jams
way!
it through Gibson.
Oh my gosh, I have goosebumps.
The fans are there holding their breath like, oh. I'm living that same moment. I'm sitting there like, am I gonna execute? Those moments are what get your heart going.
Last year, every weekend felt like the biggest tournament. Like you felt like you were playing on the biggest stage.
It's pretty insane to see how much we've grown as a sport. Come out to some tournaments, just see literally thousands of people out there. It makes it almost more fun, you know, to be excited to see how the discs are flying.
Oh, no way! No way!
And just being amazed when something works just right.
It's unreal, honestly. It's unreal. I still can't like wrap my head around it that I'm here and I won the World Championships. It feels amazing. It doesn't feel real. I don't know if somebody can wake me up from the stream. I don't know. It's crazy.
Unbelievable stuff in the 17-year-old. Game over. Every time, man, the moment comes his way, he answers. He answers the call.
It feels so unreal. It makes no sense. At no point this whole weekend I thought I had a chance to win.
Oh my gosh, that was such an unbelievable shot.
It's very apparent now that we are on the brink. Each event can really become a huge impact on your career. We're putting the puzzle pieces together now, and it's going to keep snowballing.
You know, this is something big, and it's only getting bigger.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the finals of the 2022 Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship presented by Barbasol. We are at the Matt Keatts Memorial Disc Golf Course at Nevin Park in Charlotte, North Carolina. And welcome in, everyone. I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, joined alongside three-time world champ Nate Doss and also Nate Sexton. And Nate, I'm going to start with you. This feels a little bit like a change of tides, possibly. Old guard, new guard, what are we going to experience?
Oh, it's going to be awesome. First thing I have to say, all those amazing moments that we just saw, all in the last couple of years, and today we have a great chance to see one that could top them all. I mean, it's all the pressure, but as you're saying, it's a storyline we've all heard a lot in sports: veterans versus new guys, young versus old, underdogs versus favorites. But at the end of the day, everyone's in the top 10 in the world in this group. And I think as much as you might look at an Isaac Robinson and think, yeah, he's long odds, may be true, but I don't think as long as most people might think. I think all these guys pretty evenly matched, and we're going to be in for a good one.
Well, and some of those guys that are here to defend the territory, some of the trails that they've blazed, some of the experiences that they've given the disc golf community and the entire disc golf world. You look at a Ricky and a Paul, they're going to be here, they're going to be competing. You have to ask, wow, does one of them maybe even decide Player of the Year today?
Yeah, no question about it. Obviously, Paul McBeth and Ricky Wysocki have had two of the best seasons of anybody throughout this entire year. Of course, we have other players that have done extremely well, but these two guys are definitely at the top of the heap. We're going to take a look at their statistics right here, and you would have to imagine that if Ricky can overtake Paul or Paul can overtake Rick in this final, it might not even be for the win. That might determine in people's eyes who is the player of the year. But to tag on to what Nate Sexton was talking about, styles make matchups. And today we have 4 very unique styles of disc golf, and I cannot wait to see whose style can overtake the other 3. It's going to be an exciting day, no question about it.
Well, we couldn't ask for a better setting other than the Matt Keatts Memorial Disc Golf Course. We're at Nevin Park in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hello,
Club
everybody,
President
and welcome
Dave
to the
George
Matt
is ready to
Keatts
go.
Memorial Disc Golf Course at Nevin Community Park here in Charlotte, North Carolina, the proud host of the 2022 Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship presented by Barbasol. This event is the culmination of a hard-fought season, and we have now arrived at our MPO Division's lead card final round. At this time, please help me welcome Ricky Wysocki, Paul Macbeth, Gannon Burr, and Isaac Robinson. With the honors on hole 1, please help me welcome, representing Dynamic Discs, Mr. Ricky Wysocki. On the tee, representing Discraft, Mr. Paul Macbeth. Next, representing Prodigy Disc, please give a warm welcome to Mr. Gannon Burr. Rounding out our card, representing Prodigy Disc, please put your hands together for Mr. Isaac Robinson. Let's go,
Final card is off and ready to go here as they'll do battle in Nevin Park. We're going to take a look at Arcana current conditions. Highest temperature of the week that we've seen at 80 degrees. Humidity just 41%. Also, some of the windier conditions we've seen at 10 miles per hour. It's picked up from this morning. It's also warmed up since this morning. So we're ready for Championship Sunday. And like Cana, I want to go ahead and thank all of our Disc Golf Pro Tour partners, supporters, and sponsors throughout this entire 2022 season. Specifically Barbasol, who's our presenting sponsor of this weekend's broadcast and the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship weekend. Barbasol will be bringing us exclusive non-commercial back nine, commercial-free entirely, thanks to Barbasol this afternoon.
Rick with the bad drive, but a lot better than yesterday. He did at least negotiate the gap, stayed in bounds. Easy par.
Wow, and Gannon Bird drawing metal from way back in the fairway.
I tend to look at, you know, events like this, rounds like this, as sort of a race. You know, there are guys that are going to get out to a hot lead, and then there's guys that are going to come back and potentially win at the finish line. It's all predicated on believing in your skills to execute as we come down to these final, 5 or 6 holes on this course.
Well, Paul McBeth coming out of the gates with the birdie here on hole number 1. Wysocki in for the par. And by the roar of the crowd, it sounds like Isaac Robinson might be the crowd favorite here today. He comes in with the lowest seed, although they're not going to matter. Everything resets to 0 here today. And we have a patented Paul McBeth clutch putt coming into us. If you need to have anything patented or copyrighted, check out Sunstein Law. They can help you out with any logos, branding, any intellectual property needs that you might have. Make sure you check in with Sunstein Law. Thank you for being a partner here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Out on the ground, we've got Brian Earhart along with the PDGA's own Hayden Henry. Let's hear from him now.
The finals of the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship finally underway. We have 2 of our game's great champions of this modern era going up against 2 young guns whose careers have blossomed this year. Joined here by Hayden Henry of the PDGA. Hayden, what an amazing finish to this event. What have you seen out here?
No doubt. Nevin Park is set up to deliver a dramatic finish. I think that's what we're going to have. Like you mentioned, we got Ricky Wysocki, the Pro Tour points leader this year. Paul McBeth, the 6-time world champion. Isaac Robinson, who just graduated college, and then the other guy, Gannon Bird, with his USDGC title, about to graduate high school. So, like I said this morning, this kind of sums up the entire year, it seems like, with these 4 guys on this card.
Well, the spectators are out in full force. It's going to be incredible for this crowd management team to get these spectators through the woods. Amazing day of disc golf ahead, but let's jump forward. What's next for the PDGA?
Yeah, we've worked so hard this year collectively. This is the first year that the Disc Golf Pro Tour has been the official Pro Tour of the PDGA, and the Elite Series has never been better. From the media to the tournaments week in and week out, it's improved. We collectively have sanctioned nearly 8,500 tournaments around the world. We're working through the good, the bad, the growing pains, and everything collectively as a small group of passionate and dedicated people that want to make disc golf the best it can be. So looking forward to continuing that on in 2023.
You are right about that, Hayden. Disc golf has come so far. This tournament is an absolute testament to that. Amazing day at disc golf ahead. We're going to send it back to you in the booth.
Thank you, Hayden and Brian, as we watch McBeth get caught up on the short right side of hole number 2's tee.
Well, he got incredibly lucky as there's out of bounds all along that left side, and he kicked back to the right. So very fortunate there for Paul McBeth. The back end here on hole number 2, extremely difficult as it's a late kick to the right, but Isaac handles it beautifully.
Isaac Robinson looking to pick up a birdie here on 2.
Short putt on 1, short putt on 2. That is the recipe for an underdog to get out to a hot start.
Well, and we have to thank also another partner in Dynamic Disc for their support of our live broadcast here this weekend. Be dynamic.
Rick with the bullseye on hole 2.
Yeah, and he did that yesterday. A poor tee shot on 1, came back and nailed this tee shot on 2. Does it again today.
Great shot by Gannon Burr off the tee at 2. In fact, let's take a look at what else we saw here on 2. Break it down for us, Sexton.
Yeah, our IDEO Move with Purpose form review. Ricky staying well back off the front of that tee pad, making sure he's got plenty of room to work. He is one of the greatest forehand throwers we have ever seen. Uses his strong, powerful arms to power through overstable discs. He's just a big guy. He throws really hard, really low with overstable, putter, driver, anything. And he's just able to control this. There's really no risk of this moving out of bounds. Look at the extreme hyzer and then that huge flare skip on the end by design. It's a guy you do well to model your game after if you could learn to throw anything like him.
Well, you can start by going out and picking up a brand new pair of shoes. Head over to ideosports.com. Move with purpose. Beth first to act.
Yesterday, Paul McBeth, one of 2 bogey-free rounds, the only 2 we've seen throughout the entire tournament, all the way back to the play-in, back on Wednesday. Him and Isaac Robinson were bogey-free yesterday.
Rest of our card inside the circle. Gannon Burr takes advantage of the great drive. He picks up his first birdie of the round.
Yeah, 3 of the best drives we've seen all week from this card.
Isaac will double his birdie count. He's 2 under through 2. And Wysocki is in. He'll move to 1 under. Paul McBeth left out of the birdie party. They're going to have a long walk over to the tee of 3. We'll be right back after a word from these sponsors.
Behind every face is a story, unique, each and every one. Beautiful stories, inspiring stories, some beyond our wildest dreams. And every day, a new story begins. We salute every fearless, self-assured, undeterred, hopeful face all across America. Here's to the next 100 years. Barbasol.
Worlds is the tournament you want to win. Doing whatever I can to be as prepared as possible.
Stop being afraid and just play your game and be fearless.
When I get there, it's going to come down to getting in that mindset and staying in the moment. And if it happens, it happens. But can't think about defending, can't think about winning. Got to just prepare. If I leave winning, it's going to be awesome. And if I don't, like, there's still so much golf left and so many more opportunities. Be in the moment.
Do the car load, 8 avocado, take 7.
Action. And cut. Perfect. That's a wrap, everyone.
It was important for me to partner with a retailer that could help with growing my brand and making my products available all over the country and across the world. Flight Factory has helped me accomplish that. Check out all of my gear and thousands of other discs at Flight Factory.
We are dedicated to the game. Developing technology and providing data that helps you take the next step. Whether it's your next training session, league night, or major. Because we believe the best way to grow the sport is to push the sport. And the best way to do that is together. We're focused on the future to make that happen.
Go long! Whoa.
Hey, over here.
And welcome back as our competitors have moved from the basket of 2 over to the tee of 3. Hole 3 has played very challenging this entire week, hasn't it, Doss?
Yeah, yesterday, hole number 3 did play as the 4th most difficult hole. Just 1 birdie by Ricky Wysocki. It's 425 feet with an even bigger kick to the right than we just saw on hole number 2. Again.
Wow, Ricky.
How does he duplicate and improve on his effort from yesterday?
I mean, he's another 10, 12 feet closer than he was yesterday. Ricky Wysocki has holes 1 and 2 dialed. That's a great bit of momentum for Ricky Wysocki. Let's see what Burr can do here. If you're going to throw the backhand, you really have to push this left side. And it has to continue to turn throughout the flight.
Dead center in the fairway.
Yeah, and of all kicks to get, that is the
important.
best possible one he could ask for in that situation. Oh, and Macbeth pulls that one to the left. Not a favorable kick for him.
Oh boy, we're going to see a first bit of scrambling here from really any one of our players. That's going to be a tough one.
And Ricky Wysocki lacing it down the fairway. As it gets near the end, it makes a close shave to a few of these trees. It's going to skip it off the ground and just narrowly misses them all. That's a close shave if I've ever seen one. Thank you to our friends at Barbasol.
There's no other way to do it on hole 3. You got to be just riding the edge, pushing that fairway to the absolute limit on the backside, swinging back to the right. I didn't know you could throw it that close. I didn't know that was allowed. Turns out it is. Incredible shot.
Ricky's going to be looking into his 5 o'clock shadow a little later this afternoon. We'll see if he's got a $35,000 check along with it. We're going to throw it out to Brian Earhart, who's on the ground. Brian, what does Macbeth have here? What's the distance looking like?
Well, we saw Calvin Heimberg the other day in a very similar position get up and save his par. Paul's a little bit farther back, but this is going to be an awesome sidearm save if he can nail it.
Appreciate it, Brian.
Fortunately here for Macbeth, he has found an opening. It's a really tough stance. He's right in between these 2 trees, and that's going to limit his reach back, which is going to limit how much power he can get on the disc. The one advantage that Macbeth has is it is a downhill slope here at the second half of the fairway. See if he can try and just get enough power on it.
And Macbeth asking to get through it, and he doesn't. I'll follow up again. Brian, does he have a putt? Does he even have a look from where he is?
I would say he's still about 90 to 100 feet to the basket. He has a long way to go, Terry.
All right, so early trouble for Macbeth here.
Likely pretty obstructed as well. I think from the lie he had, circle 2 would have been a huge win. Was not quite able to get that thing to flip up and get there. He's on the ropes for a bogey early.
Similar here for Burr. Has to try to find the perfect angle and speed here on this sidearm and utilize some ground play. We saw it from Ricky. A big skip at the end can and is really the most ideal way of attacking the basket.
Yeah, I agree. The skip on purpose, the best way to move the disc straight right. And he is going for that.
A little bit wide of ideal, but some of the putting we've seen from Gannon Burr over this 2022 season has been nothing short of brilliant. You can really never count out Gannon Burr.
See the gallery that's out here taking in the action today out at the Nevin Park, located in Charlotte.
So Macbeth is still in a scramble situation. If there's anything I've learned over the last 15 years of knowing Paul Macbeth, you can really never count out this guy either, but in this situation, I'm not sure even the great one can manufacture anything.
Put a credible run on it if it could have fought through those last branches. Just a hole you cannot afford a bad drive on. It snowballs on you so fast. We've seen a ton of bogeys on this hole this week. Just like basically any 400-foot hole in the woods, and we have a lot of them out here. If you're on a par 3 and you hit on that first half of the fairway, good luck to you.
Isaac Robinson off to a great start. Can he make it 3 for 3? So his bid is just off the top of the basket.
Yeah.
His teammate, buddy Thomas Gilbert out there on the bag.
Yeah, and Isaac came from the quarterfinals, so he has an extra round of disc golf on this course compared to the other 3 in his card who joined in the semifinal round yesterday.
So an awkward stance here. Looks like Burr's going to adjust himself accordingly.
It's a long par putt.
Certainly not the conversion that we saw from a knee yesterday over on hole number 5, albeit a similar, maybe even easier look this time. Burr will be putting a bogey on his scorecard and falling back to even par.
And it just goes to show you how critical getting off the tees is. I mean, even though Burr kicked into the middle of the fairway as he goes on to make his par putt, he still was left well back, still had to try to scramble. Getting off these tees clean is going to be the recipe for success at this course.
Robinson is in for his par after the bogey by Burr. Macbeth will pick up a bogey and the tap-in birdie. Everybody's celebrating. We're going to be right back after a word from these sponsors.
If disc golf is your game, make Gotta Go, Gotta Throw your disc golf warehouse. With a huge selection of discs, bags, baskets, carts, shirts, and more. GottaGo, GottaThrow.com has all the tools to take your game to the next level. Shop online or our Golden Valley, Minnesota store. Free shipping with all online orders over $75. Online or in-store, get what you need for the game you love. GottaGo.GottaThrow.com, your disc golf warehouse. In the game since 1993.
Air Spectrum is Prodigy's new line of premium lightweight discs in the mid-range, fairway, and distance driver models. Air Spectrum discs are engineered for the same shot performance of their heavier counterparts with enhanced glide.
You can now get beautiful bursts of color no matter your preferred weight.
Air Spectrum, bag one today at prodigydisc.com.
Hi, I'm Innova Team Captain Nate Sexton. Welcome to our instructional disc golf series.
Hello, we're Kenna. We're a Dutch growing company. We love plants and we want to tell you some cool things about them. Just like humans, plants can communicate. They can sense when another plant is close. Plants look out for each other too. They warn neighbors about nearby threats by secreting substances. And studies have shown that plants love a good tune. We love and understand plants. Let our passion excite you too.
Welcome back. Our competitors have moved over to the tee of hole number 4. Right now, Ricky Wysocki out in front, tied up with Isaac Robinson. They're each at 2 under.
Oh my gosh.
Wysocki threading the needle, or a few of them. He's going to have a birdie look.
And hole number 4 is relatively open to this course. Pretty much a dead straight 462-foot par 3. Ricky Wysocki just showed exactly how to do it.
He did a great job at keeping it low. You see the difference here. As Isaac gets a little bit more height under it, he leaks left. It's a good shot. But to throw a great shot, you got to be on top of that nose angle, firing it down the hill where you can hit flat and skip straight. And Ricky did that perfectly. I think he's only got about 18 feet to the basket. Flex line. Cannonberg getting fancy.
Cannonberg going deep is what he's doing. It's on that right side just past the pin.
He's got a little bit of a point. The kick wasn't great. But I can speak from experience and say as a player, those kicks are very rarely as bad as you think they are. You see it kick on the green and you're going, how on earth? And you get up there and you're like, oh, okay, I'm in circle 1. We can work with this.
Well, Macbeth's not in circle 1, but the only place you get a chance on the front 9 to yeet is here on hole 4. And of course, you could head over to hooligandisc.com. You could check out the yeet, the thread, the vibe. A whole set of discs brought to you by hooligandisc.com out of Rockwall, Texas. Make sure you check them out today.
Well, as I was talking a little bit earlier in the show, tagging on to what Nate Sexton was talking about, matchups, really, styles make matchups. And Ricky Wysocki is one of these guys that if he starts to get that motor running, he likes to play from the front. And he is one of the best at doing that. The error on 1, but then coming back on 2, 3, and now 4, all with very easy putts this is where Ricky Wysocki can start to take advantage. These other players have to believe in their styles and their game plans. They have to just continue to play their own game. They can't adjust too early based on what Ricky's doing. But more importantly, you must execute. And Macbeth is having a little bit of issue here with execution. It was wide on 2, it was wide on 3, and now it's wide on 4 as well. So Macbeth left well back, still scrambling to try and make par.
At least he's not very far off the fairway, and he doesn't have nearly the tough lie he had on the last hole. So expect him to at least be able to get this up into the air and make a run at circle 1. Oh yeah, no problem.
As Macbeth managed to stay bogey-free during yesterday's round, today he's going to be able to clean that up. He's still going to be at even through 4 holes and likely back 3 of Wysocki.
Well, no, it's just easy.
It'd be easier.
So then I'm like, all right, where do I go? Oh, turnover. Oh, now I got this wire, and I got these wires, and I got those wires.
Yeah.
I don't like that about this hole.
What, it's not 18?
Macbeth talking about obstacles. I think we're talking about the competition and the play coming down to the wire here today.
Hopefully it doesn't come down to a literal wire.
Circle's edge for Burr. A birdie look on hole number 4.
Nice bounce back for Gannon Burr. Back under par.
A little bit surprised to actually see Ricky putting before Isaac here.
Yeah, me too.
But maybe they were just close enough, and they decided between themselves that Ricky was going to go first. So now Isaac, his chance for birdie here.
Isaac's drive was better than I thought from our first angle. I thought he would have more like 40. Great shot by him. 3 birdies for the group. That's by far the best we've seen this hole played.
And
Beth will settle for the par. As they move on, we're going to take a look at our UDisc course close-up here at the Matt Keatts Memorial Course in Nevin Park. Established back in 2009, rated 4.5 on UDisc. And for our Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship layout, it is a par 63, 9,000 feet, so far from the longest course on the tour, but it's got plenty of woods and elevation all mixed together to give us plenty of challenge. It's not hard to find a course, though, if you use UDisc. The app for disc golfers, go out and download it today.
And you can see how quickly Paul Macbeth has fallen 3 shots behind the lead. A course like this, there's really no big way to make up strokes.
This morning there's like
most likely a lot of the really tough decisions on whether to be aggressive is going to come around the putting green. A lot of slope here in the woods. One of the underrated things about Nevin is all of the slope around these baskets. And if you're on the short side putting downhill, there will be some decisions, and eventually Macbeth will be forced to go for it, but we're way too early for that.
Ricky, a little fortunate there. A little early on the fade, but he cuts through everything. Finds a great landing zone. As it kicks forward, a little long of the ideal spot, but workable from there, I think. That's well short of the corner.
Beth lacing it up the fairway. We just mentioned he's going to need to get something going. It's already 3 off the pace.
That being said, this is where Paul McBeth's game stylistically starts to take over. More in the woods, par 4s.
Well, and what we're going to see is that Paul McBeth was the favorite out of all the brackets that were filled out. Paul McBeth was picked the most at 25% of the brackets, had him winning this tournament. Ricky Wysocki, 16%, Burr at 5%. Isaac Robinson at just 2%. Again, out of all brackets filled out, that's what we see. And right now, Paul McBeth not living up to those bracket choices at the moment. Of course, thank you to our friends at UDisc along with Bushnell for the bracket picks here for our 2022 Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship. And Gannon Burr heading up the fairway to just get a better look on things. And maybe we should throw it out to Brian Earhart and ask, Brian, what is Gannon looking at? Is he just trying to pick a landing zone here?
Yeah, I mean, from where he's at, the shot to get up to even circle 2 is pretty tough, but he's going to definitely give it a go and try to skip something up there potentially with the forehand.
Certainly looks like he's going to go with the high risk, high reward line. Try to cut that corner, hit this gap with speed, and try to skip it down to the right.
Oh, what did that even hit? Oh, it really picked up.
Tree on the right side would be my best guess.
Well, as you said, Sexton, high risk, high reward, but also high danger in the finish as that kicked what looked like to the right. And as you start to get into these wooded holes, of course, we've already played 4 holes, but it's only going to get more difficult from here. It's about these fairway hits. And the shot that McBeth threw, so controlled, down the middle of the fairway, landing in a very good position. The second shot here on hole 5 is tricky. It is back downhill, plays downhill about 30 feet, and then there's out of bounds behind the pin, so you can't just gun it. You have to try to show a little touch here.
I think this is a really important shot. Yeah, we hear Ricky Wysocki talk so much about momentum, talking about trying to get into that blackout mode, as he likes to call it, and what I think he means by that is getting out to that front-running position and playing in a way where he's not reacting to his competitors. He's just applying pressure. He doesn't care what anybody does, what anybody says, because he knows he has the lead. And I feel like he was 1 or 2 park jobs away from blacking right on out of here and just kind of blitzing the field. That shot came up short, and I think it's going to be a chance to putt at it, but it isn't quite the park job he's been doing for the last couple holes.
Yeah, Ricky will be left with that putt just on the top side of that log that we see come across the fairway. And we've seen a few people make that, but again, the danger of the slope behind the pin, and of course the out of bounds. McBeth, perfect position here. You know, he has full view of the fairway, the basket, and it's all about speed control for McBeth.
And we saw Isaac unable to get very close to the basket with his second. And that log collects another victim. He'll have a great opportunity to make the 50-footer. But you could tell by his body language, he thought he had that thing cleared. He thought that was going to slide up really close.
Yeah, you could see he just overplayed it just a little bit too much. Ideally, he was trying to just bend it around the end of that big log going around. Goes on to hit it, but as you said, Sexton, about 50 feet from up in that area. Looks as if Gannon Buhr did not go as deep as he could have, but he's still in this first intermediate cut of rough. Looks like he's got a gap, though.
Long look for Wysocki.
Wow, and just cutting in front of those chains. That was really a great job by Ricky at giving it a run, but not going overboard. Erring on the side of caution for Ricky. Smart play.
Wow, and Robinson just nicking the top of the basket. Good bid. Now, McBeth has a long birdie look.
Yeah, this is that big chance we're talking about. He's going to have to take advantage on putts like this.
Go.
Oh, and he knew it right out of his hand as well. That one was short. And if I had a nickel for every time I saw this log capture another victim, as you said, Sexton, I'd have at least another pack of Johnsonville sausages right now.
Maybe even two, Terry.
I'd go with the Cheddarwurst for sure.
Oh, and off the cage.
Bogey for Buhr.
And again, that bogey, you know, in Burr's mind, he's frustrated on the second shot because he thought he had a clean one through there. But it's when you start to get a little too aggressive on these second shots, if you're not in the fairway, just left so far back, and that's going to be a big mistake for Buhr and also a big missed opportunity for McBeth.
Get the grill going, folks. We're going to take another break. We'll be right back after a word from these sponsors.
Hi, I'm Andrew Marweed, and for the last 3 years, I've been one of the top putters in the world. I chose the DGA Steady for its straight, consistent flight path and the confidence it gives me on the green. Plus, it comes in both beaded and beadless versions with a wide variety of plastics. I prefer the Stone Steady BL, but you can find your steady at discgolf.com.
His father was a tongsman. His father's father was a tongsman. His father's mother was a tongsman. No tongsman chooses this life. No. This life chooses them over and over. Throw on the Johnsonville sausage. Calling all tongsmen.
This is Latitude 64. The smallest of grains handled with the greatest passion. Always trying to improve, always trying to be better. Out of curiosity, excitement, thrill. For the player and the sport. Because we want to make disc golf awesome for you.
Check out the whole lineup at clashdisc.com.
I mean, it's literally the most popular disc of all time in the history of the sport. At its core, it's one of the most important tools a player has in their bag, a dependable, straight-flying mid-range. But the legacy of the Buzz goes a lot deeper than just that.
Welcome back, everyone. We are here at the Matt Keatts Memorial Disc Golf Course in Nevin Park. Ricky Wysocki on the tee of 6.
Hole number 6 yesterday played as the easiest hole. Ricky Wysocki is showing you why. Early in the tournament, 6 was playing a little bit more difficult, but they seem to have dialed it in here. 333 feet. It is uphill 35 feet, and that most of that is right here off the tee.
Go back and watch. A bank shot for Robinson. Gallery loves it.
Robinson has been starting so well every round, and he's doing it again here. Maybe his best start yet.
Shot. Paul's got this one dialed in as well. Yesterday, 12 players played here on hole number 6, and 9 of them went on to birdie.
This morning during the finals from a slightly shorter tee, we saw a star frame as well. So when commentators and players talk about must get birdies, a hole like this is one that comes to mind. This is coming in tight on the left side. He will be farthest from the pin.
Yesterday, you're like, oh, how did it get there? It was like a bad shot.
And we're going to roll the Zuka replay, take another look at Isaac Robinson.
Best drive we've seen yet. He actually hits the base with this shot, pushing that right side, fading late. One skip, and it's home.
We also learned this morning that the gallery always shuffling to try and get into best position to take in the golf firsthand. And if you can't be at a tournament live in person, make sure you're jumping onto your Disc Golf Network subscription. You can tune in throughout the off season. We've got plenty of content for you, including the brand new On Tour docu-series that will be debuting. I believe it is a 6-part docu-series. Looking forward to that, to get to know our players and more behind the scenes of what's taking place on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Go ahead, pause your screen for a moment, use that QR code, or just head over to discgolfnetwork.com. Type it in. Don't be lazy. Just type it in. Make sure you get your subscription today. If you renew your PDGA membership, that'll already go through 2023, and then you'll get a 50% discount on your Disc Golf Network subscription. Gannon Burr, the 17-year-old, out on hole 6, trying to keep up with the group for birdie.
That's well done from Gannon Burr, but he's running into what you could start to call must-make putts a little bit early in the day with all these guys parked.
Chip shot in your backyard with the way that they just successfully completed hole 6. Take another look at Gannon Burr. High chain, dead center. They're going to make their way over to hole number 7, our VII and diameter apparel hole. Thank you for your support throughout the 2022 disc golf season. Sexton, what are they trying to do on this tunnel?
Oh, this is easily one of the most interesting and signature holes on this property. 375 feet, dead ahead. You can see just the band when you're standing on the tee, but that's because this thing is elevated way up, and then it's a huge drop-off behind it. So it's mid-range or putter, thrown firm down that left side and just trying to drift it right. You'd want to land about 40 to 50 short, slide your way into circle 1. Do not want to mess with that area behind the basket because you're just likely to be 60 feet down below it.
All right, Evan, can you stop on the second row there? Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I just get the feeling, as much as we know Ricky as sort of a dominant front runner, we've talked about that a bit. If Burr or Macbeth was able to kind of right the ship and make a comeback, wouldn't they owe something to Robinson for just not letting Rick get comfortable? Imagine Robinson at even right now.
And Wysocki.
Speaking of uncomfortable.
Yeah, he will be out of position, way back with lots of work to do.
Yeah.
That steep drop off.
He's going to have at least 300 feet. I mean, he's only progressed about 75, 80 feet. So right around 300 left for Ricky.
A chance to take the early lead.
If that stays clear of hitting any trees, that might go all the way down. Brian, did you have an eye on Isaac's shot? We couldn't see it finish.
That was an extremely fortunate kick, Terry. I think he kicked to about 45, 50 feet short of the basket. He does have an option that he's going to have to choose from. It's a very tempting putt from there.
Brian, here's Macbeth.
Looks quick.
Yeah, too fast.
Yep, coming in hot, but it looks like it checks up at the very end and slows down.
Got a good tree, I think.
Yep, definitely caught a little bit. That was a little too quick there for Macbeth, but great line.
Overturned, trying to go with that intentional flex. Disc not overstable enough to handle the angle and speed he put on it.
Take a look at Wysocki's reaction.
Yeah, not much there from Ricky. Locked in what he needs to do now. He was In a way, he got a little bit lucky that he didn't kick to the right. Had he kicked to the right, there's really no chance to make par. From here, still a very limited chance to make par. Because of the short tee shot, he still has to deal with all the challenges of this green. And really, he's going to be trying to imagine a spot about 50 feet short of this pin and utilize the slope and the speed of the disc to run it down to the basket.
Not as much flex as I would have expected.
This is coming in way too hot. That's gone all the way to the bottom of the hill, so Wysocki at least 45, if not more, for an uphill putt to save his par.
I expected to see some Anheuser angle out of the hand and kind of float it in, modulate the speed a little bit. He just kind of fired the putter, hoping to kind of let gravity act on it and hit the ground early enough. Unfortunately, it just keeps sloping away, and he did not have that happen. He's going to have a really long putt and a dangerous putt, as we've seen. If you hit the cage or the band, likely to come right back to you.
Burr able to just jump putt it here, and just barely hanging on, catching the last little bit of that upper shelf. That'll be a very makeable putt there for Burr. Looking at Ricky's shot, I mean, if there wasn't a slope behind the pin, he was still going to land 20 to 25 feet long. And with as much speed as he took, he might have gone so deep down that hill, he might not have anything, as there's some brush down there.
I got to shout out Josh from Jomez. That was a nice little dodge. Nimble feet.
Well, Isaac would have loved for him to stay in the way.
Okay, so Rick did stay out of that bush. You could see if he was just in that bush back left, he'd be snookered, but here you go.
And it does sit for him. That's fortunate. But now Robinson, an opportunity to take two or lay up and grab one.
So okay, Burr decided to walk all the way to the bottom of the hill. Again, youthful 17 years old, just to get out of the way. But we're going to see Macbeth first here.
You see him outside of the circle. I'm going to give this about 13 meters.
Get up, please.
Macbeth continues to just leave opportunities on the table. Those are going to catch up with him eventually. If I'm Isaac Robinson, I lay this up all day long. But again, I'm not Isaac Robinson.
It looks like a go. Maybe a little bit of roll and then a sit down. See what he's got left. Gutsy effort.
I mean, clearly, when he won the Idlewild, the event at Idlewild, he, went for a putt on 17 that was insane, and he cashed it. So the guy clearly likes to stay aggressive. Burr, nice par save for Burr after the poor tee shot. The reason I lay that up if I'm Robinson is because what if you did roll? Now you've given all that back to Ricky. Either way, he stayed close.
And the solo lead for Robinson now.
Macbeth is in. We'll be right back after a word from these sponsors.
Power Grip is the only disc golf retailer operating in both Europe and the United States. We got our start in Finland in 2009, and now we've established Power Grip USA's online store, with retail stores still to come. Come see why we call ourselves a pretty good disc golf shop. Shop online at powergripusa.com. We're here to help.
What could we have here?
Fancy stuff here.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Good quality, super stiff, pretty grippy too, I would say.
I think I would throw every disc in this plastic.
Air Spectrum is Prodigy's new line of premium lightweight discs in the mid-range, fairway, and distance driver models.
You can now get beautiful bursts of color no matter your preferred weight.
Bag one today at prodigydisc.com.
The Millennium Scorpius is a 12-speed overstable distance driver. It's one of the best ultra-long distance drivers in the game today. Go grab one today at golfdisc.com.
Chris Tatar looking confident early. That is now 8 straight birdies.
Chris has nothing to lose.
Tatar from the circle's edge for birdie. Punctuation mark on a dominant week in Emporia. Chris Tatar, for the first time since 2004, a European champion at the Worlds.
Come out.
Play disc golf.
And let it fly with Lone Star discs.
Welcome back, everyone. Tee of hole 8.
Yep.
Isaac Robinson with the honors.
Sit down. Footing could be a little awkward.
Well, and I'm going to throw it out to Brian. Did we hear earlier in the week, Brian, that how they have to play it with regard to the bridge on this hole?
Yeah, I mean, Isaac is still should be pretty far back from the bridge. I mean, he hit it and bounced back a little bit. I actually think where he's at, he's in pretty good positioning.
All right, appreciate it, Brian.
So the bridge actually giving Robinson a little bit of an advantage as it kicked backwards, helping him out just a little bit.
Macbeth threw a terrible drive there and took a big kick right.
Yes.
Same tree. Oh my gosh. Chances that are so little.
So now we head into a very difficult stretch of holes. 8, 9, and 10. All played as some of the more challenging holes on the course yesterday.
And now let's take a look at hole number 8 and what they need to do here, Sexton.
622-foot par 4. They're looking to hit this initial gap, obviously, and then just a slight drift to the right. I think the backhand turnover is probably the best play possible because you can settle it a little bit softly over here. You're just trying to line yourself up with a good angle to attack this next tunnel, and this one kind of shapes up as a second shot that has to be pretty precise, and you don't have a lot of option to get way down that tunnel from out of position. You need to be at the right angle to be able to attack that on straight on. Trying to bend it in there and still advance 250 feet, unlikely to work out in your favor. So it's a tough par 4 where position is super important.
And as we look at this par 4 at 622 feet, something you pointed out yesterday, Sexton, this is by far not the longest course on the tour. I mean, they just played the USDGC 7 days ago, which has much more length to it, but clearly the tunnels make for so many of the challenges out on this course.
Well, you know, I would amend that to say the USDGC has a bit more length, kind of a surprisingly not even 1,000 more feet when you consider the trees these guys are going through. I mean, this is a absolute bruiser of a woods course, and we wouldn't want it any other way for the championship. But for a woods course, this is very long.
Favorable kick.
That's well done, I think, from back there.
Yeah, I would agree, and I think that's really well done for Gannon Burr. He was a little bit out of position. The flight wasn't perfect, but a great kick back into the middle. But ultimately, his round is going to hinge on hitting fairways. Sexton, here's a little bit of what you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, as they always have to do for these events, it's a brand new layout. They're out here making new tee pads, extending baskets, changing pars, and kind of getting the whole Disc Golf Pro Tour team out here to make something sufficiently challenging to have this showcase event and to decide the record payouts that we have on the table today.
Yeah, and we've seen that this event has been over at the Hornets Nest course, which many people love, especially your Charlotte area disc golfers. But this year, due to some infrastructure projects and other things going on, moved to another. The fact that we have options, though, in the same city to pick which championship caliber course we want to use is a huge testament to the Charlotte Disc Golf Club, along with the 750 active members, as Macbeth forehand finds a tiny window and punches through.
Wow. Very important shot. Going to give him an opportunity to save the par.
Yeah, he's going to need to do a lot more of that if he's not going to be able to get it off the tee. Here's Ricky. Going to have to reach out here. Can look and see the gap he's trying to hit here, so relatively unobstructed.
This is what I was talking about, though. Being out of position, you can't really stay in the middle of this tunnel. He's going to have to work it all the way across and then just fade it back. It's not impossible, but the degree of difficulty much higher. Very well done. Long, long look, but he made it almost all the way down.
Yeah, I mean, I believe he's down at the level of the basket, and definitely a putt that Ricky will have an opportunity to make. We were just looking at those distances. The length of the USDGC course is 9,812 feet. So I was about 804 feet longer. And that one's wide open, essentially. There's more trees on this one hole than there is on the entire course, as Terry said on previous days. So, yeah, definitely very challenging for how wooded.
Late tree, but still within range. I was going to say still within Isaac's range. Not everybody's range, but it seems like everything's within Isaac's range.
Well, I feel like all four of these players are here because they have that range. I mean, they're all tremendous putters. They can all make it from anywhere and everywhere. Unfortunate for Robinson, though, to not put that one just a little bit closer, show his fellow competitors, look, I'm hitting fairways, I'm hitting greens.
Yeah, the putt on the last hole and perhaps a miscue here, potentially something he would look back on and say, man, I really had the chance to turn the pressure up to 11 on these guys and separate myself. We'll see what happens. He's still got a chance with this putt.
And just on a frozen rope, we see Macbeth's third shot going just past the pin.
It was a really great show of control from Macbeth. Able to chip it just back out to the middle and then guide that disc down pretty much within parked range. Here's Berth after his second shot. Going to go to that jump putt.
I think 80 to 90% of professionals in that spot are full layup. There's a little slope behind the basket. They're not sitting there and taking a couple practice pumps and thinking, maybe I'll make this. He puts that up on a pretty good line and immediately, oh no. It just tells you the kind of expectations he has for himself with that putt. That had to be 90, 100 feet.
Yeah.
Still feeling like it's worth it to take a stab and like he can get it on target. It's incredible.
Robinson not inside circle 2.
Doesn't miss it by much.
So now the ball back in Wysocki's court. Can he hit a huge putt to get back in a share of the lead?
I find it so interesting how Robinson and Burr are just so close to each other. I mean, Rick and Paul aren't that close to each other. Let's put it that way.
Well, those two guys are great friends. They're almost touring partners. And there it is. Out of position. Fantastic forehand second and the big putt to seal it. Great birdie from Ricky Wysocki.
That will immediately erase the bogey picked up on the previous hole. Wysocki back to 4 under. Macbeth with just 2 birdies on the round so far sits at 1 down. Take another look as we roll the Zuka replay. Now let's take a look at hole number 9 here, Sexton.
Just even barely longer than the last one, and I think much tougher. This one 630 feet with a very, very narrow tee shot, and then you're going slightly uphill and breaking hard right, and it just kind of continues to curl around to the right as you reach this plateau. You'd sort of think you've done enough after you throw 330 perfectly down the gap and clear up on top of that hill, but I don't think you have. We haven't seen that many people really reach that ideal landing zone. It's just really hard to do. And then you're going back down the hill to the basket with a lot of trees in between you and the area you need to get to. So there's not a super clear way down. It's sort of a hole where you throw a perfect shot, and the second shot has that little bit of scramble nature to it, which I don't think is a bad thing. It tests all kinds of different shot shapes and angle control. Very, very tough par 4. Very, very critical drive. Going to be kind of caught in the corner, and we have seen some players roll the dice and try to cut through there. I don't think you're going to reach the basket by going to the fairway from there, that's for sure, but you could certainly secure a par.
About perfect. I mean, he's gotten all the way past Sexton to that corner you were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely one of the best drives we've seen on it.
Yeah, and he's going to have several options of which way he can go. You can try to play a little hyzer, a little turnover from there. All right, here we go. A nice clean one there from Macbeth. Ooh, that late little root kick put him right up next to that tree. That could impede his follow through.
Yeah, I'm going to be more concerned about his backhand throw there. He may be forced to go with a forehand, whether he likes it or not.
A little bit too straight. What kind of tree kick will we see? Nothing. I think he would have liked one there.
Thus far, Isaac Robinson looking dialed here today. Off to such a great start, keeping the scorecard clean, just as he did yesterday in our semifinal round.
More like softer shape, like soft. So how do I get the trees that are and then just I don't even know how he literally is in the quickest woods ever. I was behind the wood pile.
Not sure if he already made a deal with Barbasol ahead of time, a clean shave, clean scorecard, something of that nature. Again, and Burr, maybe not quite to that need just yet. He could use a clean scorecard, though. He's got 2 bogeys, 3 birdies, and he sits at 1 under with Macbeth. Certainly some work to do.
Robinson and Burr being so close might be a great thing for Robinson. He's a great player. He's 10th in the world, but he has for sure the least experience in these kind of situations among these 4. He looks so loose, just talking to his buddy, talking strategy. Not letting the moment get too big, at least to this point. Just I would say, a dream start for Isaac Robinson.
Well, and I think about interviewing him after the LWS Open at Idlewild earlier this year. He said he was nervous, and you would have no idea. I watched him play the entire round, and there's just nothing about him that would give you the impression that he's actually nervous out on the course.
Good quality to have.
Yeah, even if you are, at least you hide it well.
Yeah, that kind of stuff matters. Your competitors don't see you rattled. You see him collected, and I think he probably actually is collected in this moment. Everyone gets nervous, clearly, but this guy's proven he can handle it well.
Well, here he is on one of the shorter, easier holes on number 11 out there at Idlewild. Doss, you mentioned this earlier. Didn't necessarily need the putt here on 17. He did want to have an extra insurance stroke, but man, that could have went wrong real easily, and instead he'd go on, play clean on 18, and claim the victory. Isaac Robinson, along with his brother running in to give him a big hug. Also a force out there on the disc golf course. It's been amazing to watch as these young guns have done so much. Isaac just graduating college in the last few months, and excited to see him out full-time on the tour next year as well.
Burr pushed so far long of the landing zone here that just didn't get the sustained turnover he was looking for. We saw some miraculous scrambles from him yesterday. Can he add another one to the list? Yes. I'm going to go ahead and say yes.
That's better than miraculous. That's just didn't even seem possible from where Burr was, and now he's in a great chance to make birdie. That could be a huge swinging point for him in this round. Birdie being that far out of position, Wysocki having issues. So here's that stance. It's going to impede the follow-through. And why you say, well, that's after he throws, he still has to be cognizant of trying to stop his arm as he throws, and that can affect the swing.
I'll just say it out loud. I'm a little bit nervous as Macbeth is lining up the shot. On that follow-through, whether it's his forearm or his hand, he's got to be concerned with that tree. When you see kind of leans forward.
Yeah, it was kind of a jump throw for Macbeth, which I'm sure he's done before, but took him out of his rhythm just a little bit. You can watch as he's trying to just jump forward as he throws. That way he can move that arm forward and completely swing free here.
But what that tree does is hinder his commitment. And what did we see there? A lack of turnover and a little slow leak to the left.
Yeah.
So that tree certainly played a factor and made that shot a little more difficult than it otherwise would have been. Can Robinson capitalize on the perfect drive? Yes, he can. Fantastic.
You could hear him saying clean, clean, clean. He was on the right side, but finds the gap, and there you go. Great chance for birdie for Robinson. The only thing I'll say about a lot of this conversation between Burr and Robinson, I understand being comfortable, but you're going up against Ricky Wysocki, and there's an intensity level that's brought from Ricky, and as we get closer to the finish, you cannot find yourself being too casual and not understanding the situation, all those types of things. So I like that Isaac is comfortable right now, especially with his close friend Burr. But a guy like Ricky Wysocki, he doesn't care about anything. He doesn't care about what anybody's saying to him right now. He is absolutely focused on the task at hand. And that's one of the reasons he is so great. So I think a balance of that for Robinson is going to be critical here as it gets a little tighter.
Yeah, certainly would like to see him rise to meet that intensity level as the day goes on.
Long birdie look for Gannon Burr. Burr is perplexed that it doesn't go in. Rewinding a week ago, thinking, man, every time I release the disc, it found the bottom of the basket. This time, doesn't connect. Now Macbeth to be lunging forward from the straddle putt stance. That looks high, and it is. So you hear him asking for it to get there, but it's actually coming out a little bit high.
We've mostly seen cage hits in the last couple days, and not like they're really mistakes. We're talking about 80-footers. But Macbeth has been low. I think on that one he was like maybe thinking he'd be low again, and yet this time high. So maybe a good sign. If anything, he's made a little correction. But more importantly, Robinson has a chance to take a shot off this entire card. Big time birdie on the 9th. 5 under on the front.
And with that, we have a new leader. Isaac Robinson, clean scorecard, in control. And we're going to head to our final commercial break. We'll be back in a moment.
Behind every face is a story, unique, each and every one. Beautiful stories, inspiring stories, some beyond our wildest dreams. And every day, a new story begins. We salute every fearless, self-assured, undeterred, hopeful face all across America. Here's to the next 100 years. Barbasol.
My name's Garrett Gerthy. People may know me as Double G, and I've been making Double G craft jerky since I was 16 years old.
When I have Double G's craft jerky and I pull it out of my bag during a round, the first thing anyone asks is that Double G's craft jerky? And I always bring the big bag because I know I'm gonna have to share it.
I'm a big fan of beef jerky, and I have to say that Double G beef jerky is absolutely my favorite I've ever found.
I'm always looking forward to digging my hand in my next bag of Double G craft jerky.
You can find Double G craft jerky at doublegjerky.com.
Yes. The universal feeding call of the Tongsman. 2 clacks, never just one. Sausage is ready. Throw on the Johnsonville sausage. Calling all Tongsmen.
Welcome back, everyone. As promised, we will now be commercial-free for the remainder of today's broadcast, all thanks to our friends at Barbasol.
Here we've hit hole number 10. Incredibly challenging tee shot. And Robinson takes a little kick off a tree about midway down the fairway and kicks forward. That is hugely important for Robinson, as now the pressure swings back to the other three in the group. This is a Gauntlet of Trees, 406 feet.
Big kick.
Yeah, not quite as fortunate. That was a similar kick, but Robinson's went a little bit more forward. I think if you're Burr or Macbeth right now, hitting a good one here is going to be critical. You got to start making upstrokes starting right now.
And it's the holes like these that present an opportunity to save their day. Being down a few strokes. It's birdieing easy holes doesn't do it. Birdieing tough holes like this is the chance they have to get back in the conversation.
Yeah, we'll be really thinking about 10, 13, two great holes to try to make up strokes, long par threes in the woods.
Ooh, second kick. Big time there to stay in the middle for Burr. That could have been a lot worse.
We're going to take another look as Robinson does get a kick. It looks like the same tree that Wysocki hit, but as you said, Sexton, much more favorable one. Hole 10 is our Eric hole, which stands for Early Recognition is Critical. Eric is teaming up with the Paul Macbeth Foundation in Africa with Screen Up, an agency that provides breast cancer prevention and education to women in rural Uganda. Disc Golf Connections can seriously impact the world outside of our sport. Together, we can use disc golf to help save lives. So thank you to Eric and our partnership throughout this 2022 Disc Golf Pro Tour season. And really, we've said it, the tunnel, the gauntlet, the lane, the alley, whatever you want to call it, so punishing when you get off track here on hole number 10. And we'll see in a moment what Gannon Burr is left with. Got plenty of room. Pushes to the right side, just deep of the pin. Should be a great opportunity to save par.
She crashed. Yeah. Hey, good.
Is Mark Anderson, CEO of Prodigy, that's on the bag with Gannon Burr.
What a shot.
A perfect scramble by Wysocki.
From a knee, perfect angle, perfect speed through gaps.
Currently, U-Disc is showing Isaac Robinson inside circle 2, but it's also showing Paul Macbeth outside of circle 2. So yet again, Macbeth just steps outside circle 2, going to have to try to make a long run. It's a similar distance on the previous putt. He did hit off the top.
to think that Macbeth, as we said, has been online. It's just really the speed in which he's getting it to the basket.
Oh, he's been so close on at least 6 of these, I'd say, over the last couple of days.
Yeah, but they've been from 50 to 80 feet.
Yeah.
And I just don't care how good you are. You know, having to try to make those putts, and he's a great putter, especially from distance. He needs to give himself more 25 and 30 footers if he wants to make any room up on Robinson. So even though he was inside circle 2, just a chip out there for Isaac.
Miscue from Burr.
I mean, that is shocking to us. I can't even imagine how it feels for Gannon. I mean, unbelievably shocking. He's so used to making putts of that distance. So a little bit of frustration for Burr. He'll drop back down to even. Macbeth 1 under, the leader 5 down. Ricky sitting at 4. Moving over to the shortest hole on the course. Hole number 11.
Yeah, and as we're just a little past the halfway point, I'm going to throw out to Brian for a moment and say, Brian, has there been anything that surprised you or anything that you've seen halfway through this championship round?
I mean, there's a little bit that's surprising me. Paul doesn't look like he's throwing terrible tee shots. He's just not quite giving himself those comfortable second shots on these par 4s. He's leaving himself so many long circle 2 putts, which he's almost cashing. Just like yesterday, Gannon even said 7 under par, but could have been 12 if a few of those went in. I think the course is just taking its toll on the players right now. I think a lot of these tee shots, even if they're good, are some dice rolls if you're going aggressive. So it's definitely been surprising in some parts, but also it's expected out here at Nevin.
Well, we're here on 11, as you called it. The shortest hole in the course is 202 feet. And hitting one of the upright trees on the right side, that's not going to be an easy up and down. It's still just 200 feet, but he's got 180 to go with a drop-off behind the basket.
Nice work.
This looks great from Wysocki. It just needs to slow down. And
doesn't.
Oh, no way.
Ricky thinks he's parked.
And with good reason.
Exactly. He has no clue that that happened.
That was inches from stopping. That was, I thought, perfect when I saw it hit the ground.
See if Macbeth can make the adjustment from yesterday. He had too much speed, and today, great adjustment from Paul. Nice and even with the pin. A real good chance here for Macbeth, as it looks like almost certainly Robinson won't birdie, but Ricky outside chance at best.
And what a play. We saw this by Gannonburg yesterday. He is jump putting on a 202-foot hole.
Hasn't worked too well for him, though. He keeps kind of turning that Annie angle onto it.
And we're going to take another look at this. This is just 2% from being perfect.
I love this shot. I mean, what even tipped it up? Right there, it's just falling off those little ledges.
Yeah.
You know, if that was a smooth surface, I think he stops. But that little drop just kind of kept it going time and time again, kept thinking it would stop, and it wouldn't. He's going to be perplexed when he sees how far down there he is, I think.
I think perplexed, and I think he's going to be flat out upset. He's going to get up there and say,
I agree.
Well, how did it get down there? What happened?
Yeah, I think how he reacts is very critical in this situation. Because right now, Ricky's thinking, and that's a tremendous shot there from Robinson. He'll tap in par. Right now, Ricky's thinking, boom, I got a stroke. I'm getting a stroke on this kid. I just parked this hole, and he's looking right now. He's trying to grab an eye on where his disc is. Gannon quickly stepped up and threw. That is the exact reaction we expected. Completely surprised, darn near upset. And has to be careful here too, because a bounce off this basket could lead to a rollaway. Advantage Macbeth here. Great tee shot.
Macbeth answers, picking up just his third birdie on the round. He moves to 2 under. Gannon in for par. Frustrated Wysocki also in for par. And Robinson. So for the first time, Macbeth has flipped the script. I think back to hole number 2, he was the only one to par. The rest birdied today, or should I say here on 11. Macbeth picks up the lone birdie.
It's just that little bit of spin right there. And then as soon as you hit that point, you saw the look from where Ricky was. I mean, it was a wall. And so just so steep, got a little bit of roll to it.
And every single stroke matters so much today. Maybe more money than ever before. We're giving away $35,000 for first place, $20,000 for second, $14,000 for third, and $9,000 for your fourth place finisher here today. Truly an historic day in disc golf, as we're looking at over $300,000 in our total purse, with $78,000 being given out just this afternoon.
I want to take a second to congratulate Kristen Tatar on her huge win this morning and pushing to over $100,000 in single-year PDGA earnings, a record. And for you stats nerds, if Robinson wins and Macbeth finishes either third or fourth, Kristen will keep that record. Across all genders, all divisions, she would be the richest player in a single season ever.
And she took that record from Missy Gannon, who held it before that.
Yeah, on the FPO side, but she's even overtaken Paul Macbeth for the moment, as he set the overall record last year himself. So right now, Kristen Tatar, the largest single season money winner of any competitor in PDGA history at the moment.
Turn. Yes. Oh, third.
Robinson continues to put the pressure on. How does Wysocki react here?
Come on, Rick.
Pretty darn good there for Ricky, down by the basket.
Beautiful drive.
Kristen Tatar just a few hours ago Clean scorecard nearly to the end of the round. She did pick up a blemish or two, but it didn't matter because Kristen Tatar, who's had this incredible season, including a world championship, her first, what I feel like would be her first of many. Owen Scoggins right there. Owen, who had finished second. Missy Gannon finishing third. And Valerie Mandajano finishing fourth. $35,000 to Kristen Tatar. Wasn't that many years ago where $35,000 was setting a record for a successful season of disc golf playing. And here we are handing it out in one morning or one afternoon.
And she also joined just six, I believe it was 5 other women that have ever played an entire season of finishing on the podium in every single tournament they played. So congratulations to Kristen across the board.
Macbeth in recovery mode here. He's looking at a par. Yeah, as we're watching Macbeth, just to think his Grand Slam season when he won all of the majors that were available to him, he still only won $72,000 for that entire season. We know what the MPO payouts have been like in years past and how they've continued to grow, but even when you win all of those, you still come up short of where Kristen and others are today. The sport continues to grow, and thanks to partners like Barbasol. Ricky Wysocki getting back on track.
I was almost about to say a must make. I mean, Robinson inside Ricky for birdie. Robinson to continue to push the pressure, and he doesn't.
It looks to me like the pressure's starting to get to Isaac a little bit. First available on 11. Great bounce back to throw that drive, but doesn't cash it in. Left side, a little tentative, and it falls out on him.
And this is why I start to talk about the level of intensity, because you go from one to the other. Had you kept that one level of intensity throughout the round, you don't have these ups and downs. There's a lot to think about now for Isaac Robinson. This is a putt he can't even imagine missing, and he's going to go on and miss it on that high left side. See, because regardless for Ricky, whether he's 10 down or 2 over, it's the same level of intensity. There's no changing. So we'll see how Isaac can react here.
Now still all knotted up with Wysocki, 2/3 of the way through our round, and I'll reiterate it right now. Whatever seed they came into today with, it does not matter. If there is a tie for first place, there will be a sudden death playoff. That's if there's a tie for first. Any other ties will just split money accordingly as you would in that scenario, but there is a sudden death playoff if there's a tie for first. Here's Wysocki.
Brutal 13th.
The 13th, the biggest challenge on 13 is this initial gap. It is quite tight. The hole does play back uphill. It is 410 feet. But if you hit first available, we have seen there's just absolutely no chance to save par. So you've got to hit this initial gap. The fairway does start to widen as you get closer to the basket.
Oh, 1 inch. Gosh. Come on. 1 inch every hole.
Again, perhaps an important second kick. Hard right there. I don't know that you come back from that with a par, but I think from where he is, he might have a chance. This looks really good.
This is tracking right to the pin. Short left side, makeable putt for Isaac Robinson. He's trying to get to 6 under.
And just a great bounce back, as we're going to see the Zuka replay here of Robinson's tee shot. He puts it just on a tremendous line right out of his hand. Great speed and height. And still a little bit short, but up there in Robinson range.
Almost fell over. Macbeth hasn't done very well there. A little bit of turnover, a little bit short. He's going to have at least 40 or 50 feet.
And think about Macbeth missing, and think about the potential of Isaac Robinson making. That pushes Isaac to 6. That pushes Paul back to 1. That's 5 shots with just 5 holes to play. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Must make for Paul.
Solid recovery shot there for Gannon Burr.
Great little frame of reference for those of you at home. That is Gannon Burr next to average height men.
Including Ty Tanat.
And if you're down in the vendor village, hello from the booth here. Hopefully you're enjoying the show.
The bid by Wysocki doesn't connect, so he'll be looking at a par. Wysocki will remain at 5 under. Paul Macbeth to save par on 13.
Huge putt. Keeping the dream alive for Paul Macbeth.
One thing we've consistently seen here from Robinson has just been off the top of the basket a couple of times here today. I'd rather see a player come up and give it too much than not give it enough. That's what Macbeth's main problem has been, at least giving it a chance. But seeing Robinson not able to take advantage of the birdie opportunity and take the outright lead, he'll remain all knotted up with Wysocki.
Just looking back at the last couple of holes for Robinson, It hasn't been quite what he's been looking for. Pressure can do this to you. Kind of lose the feel you're accustomed to with your putter. He's driving the disc pretty well. Opportunity is knocking at his door, but as of the last few minutes, he's been kind of busy. He's back there taking a shower or something, and he needs to get out and answer that knock and start to extend this lead a little bit. He's had some great chances.
And as we start to head into the last 5 holes, we're going to take a look at what we need to close things out. And of course, our keys for closing are going to be brought to you by blackinkdisc.com, the premium disc golf store. Break it down for us, Doss.
Well, a positive mindset is critical to succeeding here in these final 5 holes. There's no woe is me anymore. It's about winning the Tour Championship. Know the scores, know the situation, especially when we get to 16, 17, and 18. Make sure you check on those scores and fairway hits. There's no more missing fairways at this point if you want to win. Hit the fairway, give yourselves opportunities. Holes 14 through 18, minus hole 18, all gettable for birdies. 18, the most difficult hole to birdie throughout the tournament. But 14, 15, 16, and 17, all chances for birdie, and 17 brings in an eagle opportunity. Here's Ricky, clean off the tee and a late tree kick. Still a pretty good shot there for Ricky.
I was just taking a look at the UDisc win probability, and it's at this very moment, Ricky Wysocki, 57% win probability, 39% for Robinson, 3% for McBeth.
I mean, I give Paul a little better chance than that. That was a beautiful shot there from Gannon. I give Paul a little better chance than that, but it's got to be perfection. And, you know, the fact that Ricky and Isaac are kind of pushing each other, creating this pressure, you know, kind of vacuum, McBeth has to try to take advantage of that.
You're calling for perfect. He's going to need it from here on out, and this is not perfect. That's going to have to be a long birdie connection if Paul wants any chance here.
We've been eyeing that number that we haven't seen yet, 8 under par in the finals. That number is still in play for 2 of these guys. McBeth would need eagles at this point to get there. It's not impossible, but long odds to reach that 8 number. Hard to say if it'll take 8. It could be 7, but I don't see it going much lower than that.
Well, I mean, now Robinson just took a nasty kick. He's going to be way left of the basket. Ricky is short. So we'll see who's going to find a look here. Here's our stats comparison between the 2 leaders of the tournament.
And these are, of course, brought to us by our friends at Paragon Disc Golf. Anytime you have a blue, dark blue, or any shade of blue, that means you are one of the leaders in that category. And we're seeing that Isaac and Ricky are swapping back and forth. It's really coming down to the C2 putts along with the C1X putting. Wysocki 100%.
Well, Isaac's driving, Ricky's putting.
Exactly.
That's what that's telling you right there.
And at the end of the day, or should I say, at the end of these holes so far, we find them all tied up.
It's a perfect chance to test that old saying, drive for show, putt for dough. We got the battle right here. Which one is going to win out? It's been cleaner off the tee for Robinson, but Ricky has been capitalizing when he's in position.
Let's see if we can get an exact read from Brian Earhart out on the ground. What is Robinson looking at?
Yeah, this is an extremely tough scramble. I'm actually standing about 100 feet behind his lie. It's doable. He has a path, but it's low ceiling. He can throw a backhand if he really punches it. He doesn't have a lot of room to move. There's also a low forehand. This is going to be tough.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that bad. He needs this save.
And he's in the circle looking to pick up the save he needs.
Well, and unfortunately, he's now not automatic from inside circle one. I mean, he's 88%. He's missed a couple so far. Ricky at 100% from C1X.
And his last putt, Robinson, was shallow C2.
Exactly.
So he's going to need to right the ship here. I expect he'll do that.
I do too.
But it's going to be a very important putt.
Does he get it when he needs it? And the answer is no. Macbeth sees his little light of hope kind of dimming.
No, because if Ricky doesn't make it, he's still in it. But if Ricky makes this, then yes, then it starts to dim.
Just looking ahead, speculating again, I just think it's got to be, now that we've seen these miss, I think it's got to be 7 under. Macbeth is 2. He needs birdie, birdie, eagle, birdie to reach 7. We'll see. But that's what I see coming together. He might have work to do just for par here. Nicely done from the edge of the circle.
The only thing I'll say that the win probability calculator doesn't know, but we do, is that what we've seen over the last 2 days is that when the pressure ramps up, holes like 17, which we expect birdies on, we have seen people bogey. We haven't seen people get birdies from the middle of the fairway on 15. We've seen people make mistakes on 16, but that's why I say it needs to be perfection from Paul.
Great putt from Isaac to save the par from that tough position. And I think he's going to walk away very happy to have not lost a stroke to anybody after that very poor drive. Excuse me, I forgot the putt of Burr.
As we head over to the 15th, it's all par 4s and 5s from here on out, Nate.
It is, and I think this is one of the more dangerous we've got left. This one you have to move the disc way over here to the left and then decide how aggressive you're willing to be. We haven't seen that many people reach a comfortable landing zone. It's a difficult shot. You're pushing uphill and finishing hard right. I believe this hole on a normal day is a par 5 in this exact configuration. So that tells you it's a short par 5, but going uphill, a lot of different bends in the fairway. It's going to be a really important birdie. If either of our front runners can get this one, it's going to set them up great for the finishing stretch.
Well, it certainly has been a very intense day. Welcome back, everyone. Tara Miller, along with Nate Sexton and Nate Dawson. Guys, Statmando is providing a little information for me. I think the note that I was just seeing actually is that the $35,000 paycheck is more than Ken Climo's first 10 world titles combined.
Holy moly.
That's insane.
Yes, it is insane. But, you know, look, it's a different world that we live in. We saw what Steady Ed said in the Open. The game is just going gangbusters, and it certainly is right now. We're seeing 4 of the best players in the world going at each other. And like I said, now it's going to start ramping up, and this is when we're going to start to see mistakes. We've already started to see them from Robinson, and in a way, we just haven't seen anybody really grasp this thing by the horns, and Burr is even in the same situation now as Macbeth.
Yeah, and what we've seen over the last few days is mistakes have been made. We continue to talk about how easy these holes appear to be, or a couple of them appear to be, but we've also seen unforced errors that take place on 17. Do you make anything of that? Do you attribute it to pressure?
I think this course is super hard, and these guys are so good that it's easy for us to forget how difficult these holes are. I mean, that's a 970-foot hole. I'm over here calling for eagles every other shot. That's how good these guys are, you know, but there is certainly, this is a very difficult stretch, and there are plenty of opportunities to get in trouble.
Burr going to go with the aggressive sidearm play here on 15.
I like it. He needs everything here. See if he can push it way up here. We haven't quite seen anybody do this perfectly. Oh, it was so close. I don't think that's too bad a reaction, but if he beats that big tree, he's off to the races. He's going to be inside 300 if he could do that. Now he'll have a little bit of an uncomfortable shot.
Yeah, and if you're Ricky, and you just can't let it go right here. You got to overplay it left.
Oh, I think he's done it. Yes. Wow. Oh, look at that. That's near that short tee pad.
Yes.
That's by far the best we've seen. He's going to have the step-out flex forehand from there. I think he's on the order of 250 feet to the basket.
Yeah, and to put it in perspective, Macbeth with this backhand has no chance of even getting that far up the fairway. This is a much safer play, and Paul has missed it a little bit on the left, a little bit too much hyzer. Comes down to inches here. That's a little better for Robinson, but still upwards of 50 to 70 feet behind Ricky.
And speaking of Ricky Wysocki, coming into today, he had 4 Elite Series wins, trying to pick up his 5th.
And think about Ricky. He took Bradley Williams to the last hole at the Preserve Championship. He finished 2nd place at the Champions Cup. Yeah, he didn't play well in the other majors, but Ricky Wysocki was in dominant form. This was at the DDO. He walked that one in at the DDO.
Sponsor proud there at DDO, the Dynamic Disc Open, then picks up the Ledgestone as well as picking up the D-Glow, the Great Lakes Open by Discraft, and of course the 2022 Green Mountain Championships. Ricky Wysocki going all the way to the very end against Chris Dickerson and taking that one down on hole number 18, the 72nd hole of competition. This man knows how to win. This man knows how to close. Let's see if he can do it today.
And I don't want to overlook the fact that Ricky played the OTB Open essentially on one leg, which then forced him to miss the Portland Open as well. So even adversity through the middle of the season for Ricky.
In line here. It's turning well, though.
This looks great. This looks really good. That's a nice shot there from Robinson. He's not in circle 1, but able to get all the way up the hill.
There you can see that tee pad about 80 or 90 feet potentially ahead of Macbeth. Ricky is beyond that and up on the left side.
So here for Paul, he can't go to the pure turnover. He has to try to hit this initial small gap and then utilize the disc to turn up this hill, and it has to twist up the hill all the way.
I don't know if that has the height or the turn.
Well, regardless, it finds the tree, and so Macbeth way back.
We can see how the difference between being on the right side and the left side of this fairway. Even though Ricky's a little bit off on the left, he's going to have a much better angle. Burr, nearly nothing from this point. He was actually contemplating trying to cut the corner here. This is pretty much for his tournament life, this shot.
No! What did that hit?
And that's going to fall in the vicinity of 16's tee pad. I don't think he's going to be on any kind of fairway for this hole. He's going to have another very scramble heavy, sneaky type of shot to get anywhere near the basket. He's going to be lucky if he's on the tee of 16. Otherwise, he's in the deep, deep woods.
And Ricky is just in a fantastic position. He's going to reach out here to the right, try to throw this twisting sidearm.
You can see the basket from here on the lower right portion of the screen. I would say he's the only player we've seen so far who had a look at the pin on his second shot, and boy, does he do something useful with it. Parked for birdie.
Ari approved for Ricky Wysocki. Ari, of course, Ricky's caddy and traveling partner there. And boy, what a shot from Ricky, able to just check it up inside circle one and hit the pyramid. Pressure has been applied by the great Ricky Wysocki now to Isaac Robinson. I mean, pretty much that shot from Ricky definitely locks out Burr, and I mean, pretty much locks out Paul. So, battle for third and fourth ongoing.
803.02a says following obstacles on the line of play. Further from the target, the nearest point to provide relief. Or as designated by the tournament director, correct? Yeah, but it's not here. It's for a point. But, I'm sorry. Hey, Jeff.
I believe they're talking about the tent.
Jeff Scream. Caddy book says it was
no OB over here, just this tent.
Players may obtain relief without penalty from temporary assets, signs, which is all this is, right? 803.02a.
So you just get to go this way, right?
No, it's on the line of play. So
Yeah,
it would be
this way.
Yeah, so it's the 803.02 is first point.
Oh,
first point.
Yeah.
Or amount designated by you. Unless a greater amount is met by the director. So we did do that. We did do that. Yeah. And you said it was a meter? Up to a meter. Okay. Okay. So I can take it meter right in line.
Meter from its spot or from the asset?
From the first point of relief. The asset would be in your stance here.
Like it's a meter off the wall.
Off the wall back.
Yeah. Okay. I'll check it out and then I'll move it back. Yeah, it's either going to be there or somewhere on that meter. I got you. Let's see if I can afford it. Yeah, I know. Move a little bit.
Hearing the conversation take place as to what relief is allowed, if any, from various assets or components on the course. Jeff Spring was called over, our Disco Pro Tour CEO. And we see Robert Leonard there as well, a PDGA Marshal on site.
It appears he's trying to decide if he even wants the relief. He has been granted it, and it looks like he does want it.
And being that it's just a meter, the tent is still really in play for him. And so if that meter brings him back to a point where he can then play around the tent, that's what he's going to try to do here. See, part of that rule was if the tournament director had designated a rule for these assets, which they did, and that's why Jeff said up to 1 meter relief on the first line, or from the first point of relief.
Regardless of how you cut it, this is certainly an intense moment.
Good recovery there. One thing I'm left thinking after listening to that debate, I've read the disc golf rule book. It's not a thick book. Whose idea was it to make all these 803 point? There's not 803 rules.
Yeah, why did they start in the 800s? That's a good question.
Maybe there's been 800 changes.
Yeah, that's sure. But what? There's not 803 rules to disc golf. You're scaring people off of reading the book by making the numbers that high. Macbeth got to go full at this. Not going to happen for him. Good run. But I do not see a way that Paul Macbeth will be the champion today.
Yeah, I'll go as far to say is there's now the battle between Paul and Burr, and that battle is just for money and pride. You know, there is a trophy for third place if you think about those kinds of things, but at this point, yeah, that's all she wrote for them.
Yeah,
and it now comes down to Robinson. And can he push Ricky here? He's missed a couple of putts, 4 or 5 steps outside C1.
That is huge. Rising to the occasion, Isaac Robinson with Ricky parked.
You can go ahead if it's close.
Great adjustment from Robinson after the misses. That one right in the heart.
I think, from what we've seen in the last half hour, I think Ricky Wysocki probably thought he had one in the bag.
Yep. Goes back to the rollaway on 11. This shot here being so perfect. Robinson's missed a couple of putts. And the battle continues for Ricky and Isaac.
As we roll the Zuka replay, Isaac Robinson so calm and collected. Just a gentle, confirming fist pump for himself. As we've been seeing him do that throughout our 2022 season. As Ricky's watching the putt as well.
Oh, there's no reaction. There's no reaction at all.
Just business as usual.
100%.
Ricky Wysocki ready to go. Just 3 holes left to play.
$15 yesterday, played as the second most difficult hole. 16 yesterday, played as the second easiest hole. The tee shot can be a sidearm or a backhand. If you can put the disc in the fairway here on hole 16, it's one of the easiest second shots that they're going to have all day long. It's just a little drifting hyzer, backhand hyzer. So Ricky's going to go to the sidearm. Again, more aggressive here.
Slow speed disc.
And that's right, Nate Sexton.
Yeah, a little kick down right. You would think birdie, probably not happening.
We have not seen anybody make birdie from over there. Robinson a chance to put this one in the fairway.
And it bears repeating. Just the fact that we have not really seen anybody get in position on 18. So important. If Isaac could convert here and put himself in the driver's seat, that could be huge. You'd like to be slightly more left, but it's a good shot.
Wow, Macbeth way off the mark on the right side. Now we're going to take another look as Gannon and Isaac chat and walk down the fairway.
Yeah, you didn't throw it far,
discussing their shots and what's left with 3 holes left to play. 35,000 on the line for first, 20,000 for second, 14 for third, and 9,000 for fourth. That was all awarded as well on the FPO side earlier today. Some of the largest paychecks our FPO competitors have ever seen, and again, some of the largest paychecks our MPO competitors have ever seen. Also was able to dig in. Paul Macbeth's first 5 World Championship earnings also doesn't equal the $35,000 check today. And I know, Nate, you're saying that it was a different era, and it certainly has been, but it also does still speak to the growth of where we're at here in 2022.
Paul's effort, not what he wanted.
Guys, I just looked it up. A Coca-Cola was 5 cents when it first came on the market. So,
you
could buy a lot of Coca-Cola with this 35 grand.
Well, what we'll do is we'll adjust for inflation. I'll get back to you on those numbers there, Dawson. Either way, around the grill tonight, we'll be enjoying a Johnsonville cheddar Worcester brat too.
No doubt.
I don't care what those cost. I'm all on board.
Money is no object.
Not
when
at
it comes
all.
to cheddar Wurst.
Okay, so we saw Ricky just coming out of these woods here.
He's in a terrible spot.
He is really in a bad spot. And I think the biggest mistake that Ricky can make at this point is trying to go for too much and bringing bogey into play. If he's going to go with this risky play, he has to hit the big gap and at least get back to the fairway, which is pretty much a sure par.
Is he coming out roller or air shot? That's what I'm wondering. Looks like air. Did he get out?
Yeah, Brian, tell us what we just saw from Wysocki, if you could even see it, that is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm standing down here by the basket. I frankly did not see that thing come out. He was originally in just a terrible spot. This is a wide open door for Isaac Robinson.
Like I said, for Ricky, if he was going to go that way, he had to get back to the fairway. And at this point, we don't even know where he is. And this is that second shot we're going to see from Burr. Again, one of the easiest shots. You can see how open it is. It falls into the hands of the backhand and right-handed player. Just very, very easy shot.
Wow, a potential two-shot swing would be huge. The eagleable nature of the 17th would be negated by that. Isaac Robinson controls his own destiny if he can convert here.
Asking for it to hold, drifting all the way down. Brian, just how close is that? It looked good.
That was an amazing shot, Terry. That was, looking at the bullseye for a second, there's a tree just inside circle one that he hit. He's about 25 feet from the basket.
And the angle that he had to put that on so that it would just slowly pan out the entire way. Isaac Robinson, understandably pumped.
Yeah, what a great shot from Isaac. And all of a sudden, the aggressive play from Ricky is now rearing its nasty head. Look at where Ricky is going into right now. He's looking up. That's all he's going to have.
And at this point, the aggression is his only option.
Yeah, well, he has to try to now get at least inside circle two. Give him a chance to make the par and limit the damage to just one. What a mistake from Ricky.
And we heard it hit, and eventually it falls back into the fairway. Brian, do you have a rough estimate how far away Ricky Wysocki still is?
I mean, he's still about 100 feet away from the basket. That's going to be a really long run at the basket for sure. That's not probable, honestly.
I said it before this week. I am shocked. I am shocked by the decision of Ricky Wysocki. If he was going to go over those woods, he had to know that he had to get back to that fairway. Yesterday, nobody bogeyed here on 16. Over the entire week, there's only been 3 bogeys here on 16.
This would not be a good time to take one. Can he perhaps hit that 100-footer? We will see. Wow, Macbeth has to go over the top.
Yeah, I'm not sure he would have done that if it had been a different situation. But in his current situation, yeah, I think just kind of go for broke and see if he can get it up there.
I mean, Burr and Robinson just opportunity to take major advantage of the miscues of Macbeth and Macbeth barely got any distance. Yep. And we just saw him toss it up there. So, wow. He will bogey.
That's not going to swing back enough for Wysocki.
And now this 25-foot putt is, I would almost go as far to say is up to this point maybe the biggest one of Isaac Robinson's career. There's a chance to take a 2-shot lead and for all intents and purposes, take your own destiny into your own hands. Going up by 2 with 2 holes to play, a birdie par finish, you pretty much win. Here's Isaac.
Short. Robinson comes up short after we had been talking about how his other attempts were on the high side, this time short. Nerves may have got the best of him. Macbeth tapping in or putting in really without any care.
Nerves absolutely got him there, but Wysocki's error was so bad that he's still going to be able to take a stroke away from this hole.
Meanwhile, Gannon Burr picks up the birdie.
But now comes the very controversial 17th hole. The 17th hole has dashed the dreams of James Conrad, of several players throughout this tournament,
Calvin Heimberg,
including Calvin yesterday.
On the high left side. I think that tree came into play more than anything, but that one off the top, so he gives it too much, and on this one, just a little light.
It tells you 2 things. 1, he's feeling the pressure, but 2, his driving's been phenomenal because he's been able to absorb those, and he still sits solo leader.
Well, hole 17 all week is brought to us by our friends over at LL Bean. We appreciate their support. And as we move down on hole number 17, they ask you to go outside, enjoy the outdoors. They know that it's so crucial to everyone's safety and health and well-being. LL Bean says, be an outsider.
Just think about what Isaac Robinson is doing. If those 3 putts go in, we're talking about bogey-free 9 with 2 to play. He was bogey-free yesterday. He's bogey-free again today. It's easy to see it as like, yeah, you know, nerves got him, and that's true. But man, his driving, his management of this course has been second to none.
Frustrated Wysocki moving over here to number 17. The huge mistake made.
Now on 17, we did the flyover. There is OB left off the tee here. We haven't seen anybody get to that unless we see a tree kick. The biggest thing the players are trying to avoid is this massive bush that's on the far right side of the fairway. If you go too straight, you can find that bush. And this is perfect from Burr. And we're near that big bush.
That drive, Gannon Burr trying to secure a little larger paycheck himself, trying to distance from Macbeth. Robinson.
Watch out. Watch out.
Needs to hook up left.
That's the bush right there. That's the one I'm talking about.
Brian, you're right there. How bad is it?
He's got to stretch out. He actually, if he wanted to get aggressive, he could stretch out and throw a roller. Otherwise, this is just a layup to the mouth. He's a little bit too far right for comfort.
And we saw Wysocki hit a tree. What does his position look like?
I mean, he's even before that short pad. He still has a long way to go. Eagle's completely out of the question. He can still potentially take a birdie if he throws a good second shot.
Seeing Paul Macbeth, probably just a little aggression at this point.
Guys, I mean, we're going to see the reaction of Robinson after Ricky threw his tee shot, just looking around. And fist bump from Gannon Burr. Look, we have seen nobody birdie from being in that bush where Robinson is. Even though Ricky is short, at least he can try to gain that next stand of trees, because one of the hardest shots from where Robinson is going to potentially chip out to is to get all the way to the pin here on the par 5 17th. At this point, it's almost a 50-50 wash. You'd have to call it a coin flip of what's going to happen here. Can somehow Robinson find the miracle birdie? Can somehow Ricky put himself in a position to find birdie?
An outside chance, I know, but Gannon Burr is in the best position. Could an eagle from Burr here potentially shake things up with one to play?
No question. Yeah, that could move him to 5, par, and now he's in tied for second, just one shot back of Robinson.
And that's assuming both of these guys make par. Ricky and Isaac have work to do.
Wow, now that I'm seeing this lie, I'm not sure Ricky can gain the wood line. And he doesn't. He is just at the entryway to the wood line here on 17.
I would think, based on what the intel we got from Brian, that Isaac can likely match or exceed that position.
Yes. It looks as if Isaac, based on what Brian said, didn't go all the way into the bush, where we saw Conrad have to literally pitch backwards out of that bush. So we'll see. You're right, though, Sexton, because Burr has just kind of stuck to it here. And these two guys are playing a little bit of match play.
Chance to come back from the dead.
Chance
to come back from the dead, I feel.
I also want to put it a little bit in perspective as far as 18 is concerned. Oh, and Robinson had a much better angle here. Able to just gain the edge of the wood line. 18 has only been birdied twice from the play-in through the semifinal, and it was only birdied by two people who did not advance. Two people had nothing to lose and also nothing to gain. So, you know, what are the odds we see a birdie? It just might take something special like this to see it.
Macbeth showing Gannon the line potentially.
Oh, baby.
Way down in there.
Yeah,
Circle 2 potentially.
Macbeth will have an opportunity to put that in for the eagle.
Rick just has not done himself any favors. This second shot is not great here, Sexton.
Yeah, he's right. I mean, he doesn't really have access to the best gap, the main gap.
Burr, on the other hand, does.
Can he put some pressure on right here?
Burr potentially making a last-second adjustment, thinking that he can go on this left side line.
It's got to be an eagle, so he's trying to get as aggressive as possible, I would think.
I mean, Macbeth did just throw about the perfect shot.
I'm surprised with this. If I'm Burr, I mean, who knows? Well, who knows what he's looking at? But you would think advancing to circle 2 would be a great result here. He looks like he's hungry for maybe even more than that. What are we going to see? Is it the cut roller?
No, it's the flex.
Well, he hit his gap. I don't think he's down there on the green or anything, but
he did hit his gap. He just didn't push it far enough to the right. Still be well back, but gutsy play from the 17-year-old Burr. I'm gonna say it. This is the shot of the tournament for Ricky. They're all checking the scores.
Yeah, is there any way Ricky can get up to the green here?
I mean, there is, but there's a lot of trees between him and the basket.
Oh, no.
Unbelievable.
It's likely to be Ricky again before Isaac.
Unbelievable what 16 and 17 has done in this tournament. Now Ricky in a situation to have to get up and down to par.
And even if he does that, Isaac still has the opportunity to birdie and end it.
And
absolutely end it.
Yes. Does the great Ricky Wysocki have one more great one in him here? He needs it.
Brian, what happened to Wysocki's shot there?
I mean, he hit one of the last guardian trees and rolled back about 35 feet. He really doesn't have a look to get up and down. I don't think there's really a putt from back there. It's so far back.
Robinson not in a great position here. But
not an ideal result.
Brian, tell us about Robinson's now. We didn't see that one cleanly either.
Yeah, I just stood behind the lie. It's terrible, Terry. This is not a guaranteed up and down by any means. This is going to be a really technical scramble.
And it feels like we continue to see on 17 a number of our players throughout the last couple of days just not sealing the deal. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Absolutely.
They're giving each other opportunities, opening the door, and the other one is tripping, trying to run through it.
It's just that in this situation, Ricky has allowed, not only on the previous hole, but also on this hole, Robinson to not play perfect.
He can do it with pars. He can walk it in with pars.
And at the moment, he can bogey, and Ricky goes on to bogey. At least it's still a one-shot lead going into 18. Imagine that, a bogey. But if that happens, what do we see with Burr? Does Burr just, he's then within the one.
And Macbeth just has to be kicking himself with an eagle look right now, just seeing what these guys are doing. He's not that close.
No, that's C2. Don't go anywhere, folks. There's a lot of fireworks still left in this cannon. Burr is not in a perfect position either, but feels as if he can jump putt from here potentially.
A make here somehow? Oh, it looks like he's going to the forehand, but oh my goodness.
I think the putt is broke.
Well, and I think I would not risk the eagle for the birdie because there's no guarantee Robinson pars and a chance to be within one going into 18.
Great angle control, great speed control. Likely birdie for Burr.
And guys, as they're moving down here on 17, I'm going to just throw it out there. If there's a playoff, it starts on 18, then goes to 1, 2, 4, 17, and then 18. Here's Wysocki for par. And buzzing past the basket.
Look, Ricky is one missed putt away from Robinson still having a chance. He's nearly one made putt from not. Robinson's obviously in the best position, a chance to control his own destiny with a made putt here. First, Macbeth for eagle.
If Robinson makes, that's 2 shots.
We
into the
have
final
seen
hole.
bogeys on 18, but again, those are in different situations, but still a chance.
Paul Macbeth for eagle on 17. And he didn't like it right out of his hand.
So that will effectively make Macbeth's chance of winning 0% now. And now we see Robinson about 2.5 steps outside circle 1. Today, Robinson, out of 6 chances, has made 1 circle 2 putt.
Robinson for par on 17.
Catches nothing.
Macbeth's kicking himself right now. Wysocki's kicking himself right now. And the one who's actually in a good position is Gannon Burr.
Inconsequential for Paul Macbeth. Ricky Wysocki for bogey.
Huge putt for Ricky. Had to have that one, and he did. We'll see how much Robinson has left here. You can see his disc there on the ground. No guarantees in these situations.
To maintain the lead.
That was a solid, confident putting stroke that he'll take into 18. And just like that, Gannon Burr has the chance now to tie up Ricky Wysocki as Burr takes the birdie. And Gannon right here in the conversation for second. All knotted up with Wysocki.
I mean, he's in the conversation
to win.
A birdie almost certainly gets him into a playoff.
Wow, I'll repeat it as I catch my breath for a moment here. The playoff hole 18, 1, 2, 4, 17, and then they'd go back to 18, but it would start on hole 18. If there's a playoff for first, all included parties head to the tee of 18.
Based on the way 18's been playing, I don't think Isaac Robinson has a lot of incentive to play for birdie here. I think you let these guys chase it and see if they can push you to a playoff.
Agree with that statement wholeheartedly. You have to force that playoff in this situation. Let's go ahead and take a look here at hole 18. Then we'll talk about the stats. Sexton, what do we have?
Well, just 875 feet starting out uphill. This hole has been an absolute monster. The players trying to get safe over this OB wall often find themselves hitting the trees in the backside of the fairway, basically removing them from any chance at birdie. So it's a thin line. You got to get enough distance with height, swing left, potentially roller or just max distance air shot on the second to get under the low ceiling and push back to this green. But you can see the OB just comes in tighter, tighter, tighter as you get close, and there's rollaway potential behind it. So you're going to earn your way into this playoff if you can find a way to birdie this hole.
And guys, 4 minutes ago, according to the UDisc probability chart, they had Gannon Burr at just 2%. We fast forward here. Now he's got a 17% probability. Wysocki, 18%. They like Isaac Robinson chances at 65%.
Over the week, from the play-in till right now, this hole has a 50% chance of bogeying and just a 3% chance of birdieing. So if you're Isaac Robinson, you need a good clean tee shot and a second shot that is at least out in the open to make sure you can get your par It's going to put the pressure on Burr and Ricky to try to go aggressive off the tee.
Cannon's got to throw the best drive of the day here. It's flipping a little much, but he misses the trees.
But clean. That is very critical here. Look, the way we've seen this hole be birdied is a roller on the second shot. Roller, massive sidearm potentially.
Macbeth just trying to get super aggressive there. Not a lot to play for in his position.
The one thing Isaac cannot do is throw out OB left here.
Looks very solid. Very solid. That's exactly what he needed.
Guys, that bogey for Isaac Robinson, the first bogey for Isaac since the 13th hole in the quarterfinals.
This looks special potentially. Does it have the distance?
Go. Oh, yeah. Best tee shot we have seen for Ricky Wysocki. Can he juice up that sidearm enough to try and attack this basket? Unreal.
Take another look at it from our drone cam.
Wow. Way up around the corner.
Guess the question is, will any lucky horseshoes be required here on this 18th hole? Here's Macbeth getting up very quickly just to get up and throw. Again, no real concerns from Macbeth at this point.
Here's the deal. Robinson is forced to play for par. And I'll say this. Again, based on those statistics, the players that we've seen forced to try and play for par have bogeyed. Think about the last 2 days. Quarterfinals, it was Kyle Klein. Yesterday, it was Gannon Burr. So that's a challenging spot for Isaac.
Yeah, I don't think you want to think of this shot as a little chip layup. You want to power this shot, commit to it in a way where it can't fade on you, but you don't want to leave yourself 350 in.
Got clean.
That's solid. A little lower than he might have wanted, but he did go with a committed power shot.
Should be Burr first. The one challenge for Burr is that he's on this right side of the fairway. Yeah, so I do not see a conceivable way that he can throw an air shot to this basket. I think he needs to throw a roller, and I think the roller needs to be cut down in front of the big tree just left of his caddy.
Agreed. That center gap.
Yep. With the wider gap. I like the angle. Can it flip?
That's going to ride the OB line. And it's gone deep. The question is, will it finish? It continues to ride the line. Does it get back in bounds? Wow. It doesn't.
Oh my goodness. I have never in my life seen anything like that. Wow. Wow. Now it's Ricky's turn. He's going to go to the power sidearm. Does he have the distance? Oh, my goodness. Craziness.
That's crushed.
This looks great. This looks great.
Ricky Wysocki inside the circle on 18.
Unbelievable shot from Ricky Wysocki. Pressured now on Isaac Robinson's shoulder. He's got to put it in close.
As we roll the Zuka replay. This is just tracking the whole way.
Probably 420 feet or thereabouts on the flat to hyzer forehand.
Ricky putting his entire body into this one. Everything he's got. Tracked it the whole way. Ricky Wysocki today, perfect inside C1X. Isaac Robinson, 80% from C1X today. In the play-in round, Jeremy Colling was about where Isaac Robinson is and left it 50 feet short.
You just feel like Isaac Robinson needs about a 10, 15-footer here.
Agreed.
He's got to do that.
And it's hard with this backhand. Got to be careful of left.
It's drifting that way. The question is, does it stay in bounds? And it does.
Very, very well done.
That is inside 15 feet. And Isaac Robinson will have that left for his par.
That's like 15, 20.
Question is, will Ricky Wysocki clutch up, and will he make the birdie? The intensity. Brian, we can't let you go yet. Normally I send you off on 18. I think this might be going into overtime. Any thoughts?
Terry, I don't know how you can throw it to me right now. My heart is absolutely in my throat. I can't believe what's happening right now, and everybody around us knows it. This is insane. I can't believe it.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Still have Gannon Burr for his par putt.
A solid putt at that. Gannon Burr rolling along the back side. He's going to walk away with the par. He's at 4 under.
To force the playoff.
He's done it, folks. Ricky Wysocki battles back, gets the improbable birdie on hole 18. He moves to 5 under. Isaac Robinson still has this short putt. He must convert for the playoff, and he gets it. Folks, we have our first ever playoff in Tour Championship final history. Isaac Robinson going up against Ricky Wysocki. $35,000 for first place on the line.
Ladies and gentlemen, it looks as though we have a tie and some extra golf. Where's Gannon? First playoff hole will be this hole
Back
right here.
to 18. Can Ricky repeat?
Confirmed scores. Play 18, 1, 2, 4, 17 on a loop. Sudden death until we determine a winner. Before we take off, how about one big round of applause for these two competitors?
Now, what I'll say about Ricky is, of course, an incredible putt that he's made here to force the playoff. But that tee shot that he just threw on 18 was something special. We have not seen a tee shot like that. That tee shot brings the OB left into play. Does he adjust? Does he make any kind of different play because it's a playoff?
Well, you have to think advantage Wysocki here with what we just saw him do. The question is, can he duplicate that? Does he want to go out and
Does he try to duplicate it?
Exactly. He found himself in prime position, and then he took advantage of it with the forehand. Ricky Wysocki forcing the playoff. They're at 5 under par through this battle throughout the round. We talked about it. 7, 8 under. Maybe that would do it. 10 sounded crazy. Well, we're only at half of that. Just 5 under. Wow. We're going to a playoff, Sexton.
Yeah, and it got crazy down the stretch. All those miscues and then big shots, and perhaps the first $15,000 putt in disc golf history that we just witnessed right there from Wysocki to extend this thing. I think Ricky goes at it. After what he just did, I think it's pedal to the metal for this guy. We'll see. I think big advantage to Wysocki on the 18th specifically.
Yeah.
Well, and not just the 18th, but we talked about this at the top of the show. We said young versus old. We talked about old guard. We talked about playoffs, and we talked about Macbeth and Wysocki, the experience that they have. Think about one of the greatest playoffs in all of our era in 2014, Macbeth versus Wysocki, and how they took that as many holes as they did. Wysocki has this experience more than anything. Call it momentum maybe on 18, but what about that experience that he's going to bring into this playoff?
Well, he's going to bring, obviously, as you just mentioned, a ton of experience. Young versus old, I'm going to call it veteran versus a rookie, as actually this is officially the rookie season of Isaac Robinson here on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and he's just one great hole away from being the Tour champion. Ricky Wysocki, okay, I say continue to ride that wave. Go aggressive on 18, but if you're going to make a mistake, it must be right. It cannot be left, otherwise it's OB, and you just let Isaac kind of walk it in. Think about hole 1. Ricky, OB yesterday, barely in bounds today. Robinson's gone on to birdie at both times. Isaac, at this point, just hoping he can get to hole 1 maybe in this situation.
Well, it's going to be a long walk back to the tee of 18 where they just completed their round. That's where they're headed right now. We're going to take another look at what Ricky Wysocki did to birdie 18 to force this playoff. You called it special, Doss.
Yeah, I mean, look at, because he went so hard around that corner. And for the first time, somebody going that hard around that corner, he cleared the OB by 50 feet.
Ricky Wysocki has golf course distance that will blow your mind from time to time. The power he has with the backhand and the forehand is phenomenal, and both on display right there, covering 875 feet. I did not doubt that putt for a second once he gave himself the chance, and I think that might be what this comes down to, because we saw Isaac falter a little under the pressure of a putt to maintain the lead on the 15th with holes to play. The pressure of a playoff is 10 times that, because the stakes are so obvious. It's make it or you make it and extend, miss it and you lose. That's very likely to be the situation. See if he can come through with the putter.
Yeah, and again, if Ricky's probably not thinking about this, but it's easier for us to kind of think about it. Ricky just birdied 18. When you watch Isaac Robinson play the 18th, now he played it a little safe. I'm not sure he has the shots to get there. Does he have that good roller? We know he doesn't have that back or the sidearm that Ricky just threw on the second shot. So does Isaac have a play to try and birdie that doesn't bring in danger? This is amazing. This is amazing stuff. Shocking what we've seen so far, but we're all lucky to now see a playoff here in the Pro Tour Championship.
Sudden net playoff. We'll start here on hole 18. Go to hole 1, hole 2, hole 4. And we'll walk over to hole 17, 18, and continue on that loop until someone wins a hole. I just got the playoff code, so I'll get that out there, and we'll get going. I'm going to flip a coin. Live scores have to go. I'm going to flip a coin to determine who goes first. Whoever wins the flip will go first. and then we'll rotate every other hole after that. I'm going to flip it on the tee so it's very easy to see. Right. I'm going to assign this whirl to Ricky. Okay. Okay. And this basket to Isaac. Okay. So whoever is up is team first here, and we'll flip after that. Okay. Ready? Yeah. It is the basket, and that means Isaac, you're going to tee off first. If we continue, Ricky will tee off, and we'll switch every hole.
Cool. Sounds good.
Good luck again, man.
Good luck.
Yeah, bud.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right.
We're live on the tee.
And we just heard the playoff format yet again. 18, 1, 2, 4, 17. Isaac teeing first.
Very similar shot, very good shot.
Agreed on both accounts, but probably not a spot to go for the birdie. Door open for Ricky if he can hit a similar shot to what he just threw.
A little more hyzer. Does this have the push?
Oh, it does.
It sure does.
And this is huge because this then forces Isaac to go first. So if he does try to do something crazy, Ricky can react to it.
Yes.
Ricky has the possibility to play safe or to do whatever he needs to do based on what Isaac does.
And to me, all of this comes down to preparation. In practice, did Isaac prove to himself that he could birdie 18? You know, because you go out and practice these holes, and obviously you're throwing dozens of shots most likely. Are you going to go out there and say, what was the shot? What was the second shot that gave me the 40-footer? Right? Because what we just saw from Ricky was a power sidearm that almost never even looked at that out of bounds. And if he's in a similar position, he clearly has these most recent memories. So how, because if you haven't practiced the shot before for Robinson, that's where it can get a little sketchy.
How similar is Ricky's position?
I think he's a little
Brian
more right.
Yeah, we certainly can. Brian, do you have an assessment on what Ricky's shot looks like? Can he duplicate the effort he did just a few minutes ago?
Yeah, I think he's going to be able to, but it's going to be a lot more powerful of a forehand. Isaac has no option, however, so Ricky has at least the ability to react to what Isaac does.
Yeah, Isaac over here where Burr was earlier.
Isaac.
That's a good shot.
Yeah, cleanly punches through. From there, he's going to be looking to get up and down. So right now, Ricky Wysocki, it's all in his hands. It appears that another birdie would seal the win here at the Tour Championship presented by Barbasol.
I would say that it certainly would, but a flip of this forehand could cost him everything.
That is not flipping.
Not gonna flip. Well, how's the distance?
And Wysocki almost within feet of where he previously placed it.
Wow.
Just outside of the circle. Wysocki will likely have that putt for the win.
Carbon copy.
A carbon copy by, as Terry said, just a couple of feet. Ricky Wysocki, what an incredible performance on these last 4 shots he's thrown. 2 tee shots and now the 2 second shots.
This is not a replay, folks, from hole 18 a few moments ago in regulation. Wysocki came to the exact same spot, this time just 3, maybe 5 feet shorter of where he was.
What does Isaac Robinson do? Does he feel like it's got to be a make? As we see Ari approved, as of course we would expect. Does Robinson think it's got to go in? Does he chip it up next to the basket and force Ricky to make it?
I think you have to go for it. You're talking about Ricky Wysocki here.
It's so far, though.
But not for Ricky.
No.
You're right.
This
You're
shot.
right. Yeah, he just chips it up.
Yeah.
That's certainly a school of thought, and just kind of take your chances against
you
Rick.
Don't give Ricky the option to lay up.
Sure.
You force Ricky to beat you.
See if he can do it twice. This exact same putt.
For Ricky, it wasn't a perfect putt. I mean, it went in. It was a little low. He is a few steps back. He's now in circle 2. Either way, it's one putt left for Ricky Wysocki.
For $35,000 and the Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship victory. Congratulations, Ricky Wysocki, your Pro Tour champion 2022.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to present our 2022 Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship presented by Barbasol, champion and winner of a tying, record-breaking $35,000, your 2022 Tour champion, Ricky Wysocki.
Stand by.
Well, Ricky, I'm sure just like everybody surrounding you right now, you're letting out a sigh of relief, and you're probably still feeling some emotion. What are you going through right now?
Yeah, lots of adrenaline. You know, coming into the week, I had a feeling it was going to come down to 18, and for the most part, everyone was just getting pars, and I was down 1, and I had to get real aggressive off the tee, and I just missed the Mando tree and got into a great spot. And I was able to capitalize and, lean on my forehand, which is my go-to, and I felt really comfortable with that shot and threw it almost inside the circle twice there at the end.
Talk about the finish here. 16 and 17, absolutely scrambling from out of position. Was there any point during that round when you started to think that maybe Isaac was going to run away with it?
Yeah, I mean, 16 was a big turning point in the round, and I got a bad kick, and he threw a great drive, and so I was chalking him in for a birdie, and he just missed a short putt, and that was kind of a big momentum shift in the round, and down the stretch it turns into match play. What's he doing versus what I'm doing, and on 18 he just kind of laid up, and I saw the opportunity, and I knew I had to make the putt, and but yeah, the finish out here is amazing. It's tough, and you got to earn every birdie, and you can't let up at all.
Well, let's comment on the other two players. You've had so many battles with Paul McBeth over the years, but really this whole season, something to talk about is all this young talent that's coming out, and Isaac Robinson and Gannon Burr have been blossoming all season long. Can you comment on some of these young players that are coming out here trying to catch you?
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. I love the competition. I love that. That's what we live for as players. Playoff, the final tournament, the tour championships, and Isaac played great, and a lot of other players played great throughout the season to get to where they're at. So the sport's in a great spot, and I'm so thankful I can use my platform to be a face for the sport and that we all love.
Well, Ricky, the season has winded down. What an amazing year of disc golf it's been. How are you going to celebrate this victory?
Yeah, this is going to be great. My family's here. This is kind of another hometown tournament, Winthrop, and then this week is kind of like a home field advantage. I feel like my brother and sisters are in the crowd, and so I'm going to go hang out with them, have a steak dinner, and then I'm actually heading to the skins match next week. So, yeah, it's a great way to cap off a great season.
What a phenomenal battle, Ricky. Thank you so much for giving us a show all season long. Congratulations, and enjoy yourself this week.
Thanks, buddy. Raptor Legs for the win. Thanks for the support, y'all. Let's go.
Of course, the Raptor legs were created after a long putt many years ago, and Ricky Wysocki delivers here on hole 18. He does it twice, in fact. This one a little longer than the first one. Taking down the largest paycheck in PDGA history. we see that tons of fans are excited. I'm sure they would have been okay with even another playoff hole, though, after all the entertainment that's been provided this weekend. Our gracious host in Charlotte. So thankful to them, and of course our presenting sponsor in Barbasol. Ricky Wysocki, your champion. And with that, I'm going to turn to you, Nate Doss, 3-time world champ, and ask you a quick takeaway from what we just saw.
A lot of expletives. That was incredible. Ricky is a bad, bad dude. And to birdie that hole twice, it's only been birdied twice when all the rest of the rounds for Ricky. Incredible finish. And I would say that those 2 birdies right there just earned him the Player of the Year award as well. The cash streak, whatever. Incredible stuff, Ricky. Great stuff.
Certainly is. As you just mentioned, he literally doubled the birdie count on hole 18 with those last 2 iterations. And Sexton, your takeaway.
There's one person in the universe that could do that with that pressure and make those 2 birdies in a row, and it's Ricky Wysocki. The combination of his backhand power, the incredible driven forehand, the ability to throw overstable discs that far, and the clutch gene to just smash the putts in, no question in my mind, hole 18 fears only one guy.
Yeah.
And it's Ricky Wysocki.
Yeah.
Well, soon we're going to have a check presentation along with a trophy presentation and our OTB after show. All of that and more on the other side of this commercial break.
Yeah, let's go. Thanks, dude. What's up, dude? Thanks.
Power Grip, Europe's #1 disc golf shop, is now available in the United States.
Whoa. In Europe, we have 5 physical locations where you can shop at, or at the online store, powergripeurope.com.
And in the U.S., shop powergripusa.com.
What's up with that?
And my newest sponsor, Dynamic Disc.
When the shots fire, my soul at ease, yeah. If I go down, I might cause a scene, yeah. Them scheme, them go to sleep, yeah. They don't wanna come war with me, yeah. Run, Ricky, run, run, Ricky, run. Run, Ricky, run, run, Ricky, run. Run, Ricky, run, run, Ricky, run.
The Millennium Draco is an overstable 9-speed utility driver that's great for Hausers, backhand or forehand. Get yours at golfdisc.com.
Please remain seated.
Behind every face is a story, unique, each and every one. Beautiful stories, inspiring stories, some beyond our wildest dreams. And every day, a new story begins. We salute every fearless, self-assured, undeterred, hopeful face all across America. Here's to the next 100 years. Barbasol.
And Ricky Wysocki about to receive his check, but first we're going to take another look at what was required for him on hole number 18. Off that drive, he had this second shot going to the forehand. Just outside of the circle for Wysocki, and the clutch putt canning it. That one was dead center. Raptor legs in full effect. And now,
ladies and gentlemen,
time for the trophy.
Welcome to the Matt Keatts Memorial Course here at Nevin Park, where we've just concluded an outstanding and exciting end to the 2022 Disc Golf Pro Tour season. How about a big round of applause for this unbelievable competition? I want to take this chance to thank our partner in this event, Charlotte Disc Golf Club. Probably the best disc golf club in the world. And if you're watching this from home, please go out and join your local disc golf club. It's a great way to grow the sport and to find a lot more like-minded disc golfers in your community. Big round of applause to Charlotte. I also want to take this chance here at the end of the season to thank the Disc Golf Pro Tour staff back in the control room across the country in Milwaukee, the Disc Golf Network team, and all the Disc Golf Network operations crew that grinds all season on the road, including our owner, Todd Radenwater. Big shout out to Todd, our Disc Golf Network and Disc Golf Pro Tour staff. I also want to give a big thank you to all our season-long partners, including Prodigy, Discraft, and Dynamic Discs, who all stepped up as presenting sponsors of this record-breaking purse event. Big shout out to our season-long partners and the partners of this event. Thank you. And the last round of gratitude I'm asking you to cheer for is our presenting partner in this event, Barbasol. They stepped up huge and allowed us to reach $302,000, the biggest purse in disc golf history. Thank you, Barbasol. That said, we had an incredible performance all year from our tour card holders, touring pros that dedicate their life to the sport, and I'm proud to be here with three of the best that came out on top. The first person I'm going to bring up here battled all year, came up big at the USDGC, almost tied it up out of nowhere, but put your hands together for a third-place finisher, winning $14,000, Gannon Burr. Are you getting gay? This is Gannon's first shave. He's 17 years old. Everybody put your hands together. He's going to be shaving with Barbasol for life.
I hope you guys.
All right, wipe it off. We want to hear you. We want to hear you.
Oh gosh, that was a crazy finish. Almost came back and pushed the playoff. That roller was so close, but I was happy I could battle back. And thank you guys for coming out. It was awesome to play in front of a crowd again. And you know, I'm glad I could finish the season off strong. I want to thank my sponsors, Prodigy, Titan Disc Golf, Wander Disc Golf, Disc Dot, and the Disc Barn. And you know, once again, thank you to all the staff and volunteers on the Pro Tour. You guys have been amazing, making this a dream come true for us. So thank you guys once again, and hopefully have an even better 2023 season.
All right. Barbasol does sell razors as well. So, all right. All right. Next up is our second place finisher breaking through with his first Elite Series win earlier this year. Really an outstanding performance. We've seen him grow up around professional disc golf. Really proud to say that he's won $20,000 here today. Give it up for Isaac Robinson.
All right. Wow. If you were to ask me at the start of this week if I thought I would be playing against Ricky in a playoff for first place, I would have never believed you. I was happy with my 3,500 coming in, so 20,000 is a lot better. But yeah, great weekend. I've played good all weekend, really. Yeah, missed a couple putts down the stretch, and you win some, you lose some, and that's just how it goes. I want to thank all my friends and family back home. I've gotten text messages all throughout the week just encouraging me and just hyping me up a little bit, and it's great. I want to thank Thomas for caddying for me. Listen to me talk about all the shots and everything. Great caddy. I want to praise my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I wouldn't be here without him. I want to thank the Pro Tour. It's been a great year. First year on tour. Every event is just awesome. They do a great job, so thank you guys. Yeah, I guess sponsors. I want to thank Prodigy Discs. I wouldn't be out here playing, doing what I love without them. I want to thank Tacoma Falls College, Disc God, retailers, and Beacon Sports. Thank you.
All right, and last but not least, he was our point series champion by a whisker, and now he's executed a stunning comeback with a birdie on the toughest hole of the week, not just once, but twice to win in a playoff, winning a record-setting $35,000. Please put your hands together for Ricky Wysocki.
Yeah, this is an absolutely amazing way to cap off the season. The Pro Tour's done an amazing job giving us amazing venues all season long, and it's a blast to come out to a venue like this and allow all you spectators to be in our arena and supporting us. We feed off the energy, and that's what we live for. So thank you guys so much for supplying this energy this week. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely got to thank the Pro Tour. It's amazing to see all the competitors like Isaac, Gannon, and players coming up. It's awesome for the sport to raise the bar, and I can't wait for next year to see what happens and give it another run. But thank you to the Pro Tour. Thanks to my sponsors, Dynamic Disc, and thanks Charlotte Disc Golf. Let's do it again next year. Let's go!
And with that, our 2022 season is over. Thanks to all the Disc Golf Network subscribers and the disc golfers around the country watching from home. We'll do it again next year, bigger and better than ever. With that, I'm going to kick it back to the booth. Thanks.
Appreciate it, Jeff. Again, congratulations to all four of our competitors. Of course, Paul McBeth finishing fourth today, and the other three gentlemen that you just saw. One big thing that I want to talk about today is that we saw both in the FPO and now on the MPO side our #1 seed, our tour points leader from throughout the year, both clutched up on the final day to take home the tour championship as well. Ricky Wysocki often talks about kind of the longevity and the consistency in which he can play with, not necessarily showing up for all our biggest majors, but anything you make of that today, I mean, you're calling him player of the year, and understandably so.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that he is when you look at the stats. Obviously, he just set the cash record right now. Yeah, he didn't win any majors, but he did take second place in the Champions Cup early in the season. You know, Ricky brought all that up at the at the GMC, and he went on to win that tournament. But what he did in today was all predicated on actually some of the failures. I mean, the shots that he threw on 16 and 17, those failures ultimately led to successes. And that's what I really believe is probably the greatest thing we saw today was the belief by Ricky Wysocki that he could still do it. and he still stepped up there on 18 and threw, you know, 2 of the best tee shots and most certainly 2 of the best second shots we saw.
Sexton, you said that there's only one guy, that clutch gene, the backhand, then the forehand, the pressure, everything else. Ricky Wysocki obviously already cemented as one of the best players of all time, but this just adds to his legacy, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely, and he made it so clear to us how much this point standing and this final event meant to him. And that's all we really need to know. If it's Ricky Wysocki's #1 priority and he comes through and he seizes the day and he takes the record and he sets the payout record for PDGA money, he's putting all the pressure possible on himself, and he's standing up to that pressure and coming through and delivering us a playoff and just an insane finish.
Well, and as Jeff Spring said, and as we said, the fact that it had only been birdied twice all week long, and then Ricky Wysocki has to do it so that he can get into the playoff and then ultimately take it down. There's something to be said about that clutch gene that Ricky Wysocki has. I don't know how he keeps it all together, considering he's raptor legging all around the country week in and week out. But with that, we're going to take out our look at our final OTB shot of the day. Only the best disc, bringing it to us all year long. And let's take a look at the OTB shot of the day. And Wysocki, of course, you have to talk about what we see on 18. Maybe it was a foregone conclusion, all too obvious, but Ricky Wysocki forcing the playoff. He birdies it in regulation and then comes back and birdies it again in the playoff. I don't have much more to say than that. So incredible, the embrace by Ari, the excitement, leveled up in every possible way. And last but not least, we look at it from our overview cam. I know the crew has been working so hard throughout this entire 2022 disc golf season. Brian Earhart's been out on the ground along with the staff and crew on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. The Charlotte Disc Golf Club, 750 members strong. And Barbasol, we couldn't have done it without you. Wow, guys.
In all seriousness, I want to say big thanks to Barbasol for the gift. It's actually nice. The
feels
aloe,
cool.
The aloe is doing really good.
I like it.
No, in all seriousness, I want to thank both of you. Great partners to work with throughout the tournaments we've all worked together. I want to thank all of the cameramen, everybody that's back in Milwaukee, everybody that has anything to do with this. What we just saw on the course was absolutely amazing. But what these people do week in and week out is unreal. I was a professional disc golfer. What they do, I don't think I could have ever done. The people that are on the ground there, that's what it's all about. But really, the heart and soul of this whole thing is the fans that are sitting at home and the fans that are on this course. There's no reason for us to play without you. So what a season it's been. I love the feeling I got on my face right now, and I really appreciate both of you.
Yeah, well, I couldn't ask for better guys to sit in the booth with, along with Valerie, every single morning, even if it's before my shaving time. I'm here every morning with the FPO action section.
Santa Sexton over there.
Sexton's here. You've got plenty of nicknames, but you're looking good, buddy.
Thanks, man. It smells better in here than it usually does.
Yeah, that's for sure. We're going to have to go grab one of our Barbasol razors so that we can take care of business on there. Is that what we have to do?
Get rid of it. I don't know.
We have to talk to Bree first about that.
We will. So I'll just echo everything that Nate just said here about the thanks that are spread out through the entire season. We've got so many road warriors in our competitors and also so many road warriors out there that are setting up and taking down the events. All of the host clubs, all of the partners, all of the call-outs, the activations, the shout-outs you hear throughout the entire year. this entire production couldn't take place without all of them. It's been a heck of a season here in 2022. I don't believe it's coming to a close, but all things good must come to an end. We know that 2023 is going to be amazing already. We've already talked about it. So for one final time here in the booth, I'm going to be closing things out. For Brian Earhart out on the course, for Nate Sexton, along with Nate Doss, I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. That's the end of your 2022 Disc Golf Pro Tour season. We'll see you next time.
It's a wrap.